What's up guys, this is your favorite fanfic YouTuber, the Fanfic Majesty, and welcome to another amazing video. You can follow me on Patreon for exclusive stories.
7 He. Chapter 151 HxH's terrifying power, Neferpitou died tragically. Open black lens bracket subscribe close black lens bracket. Boom. Lan Fei's kick was his strongest blow, and his whole body was filled with crimson heat waves. The instant he kicked Neferpitou at extreme speed, a crimson dragon jumped up behind him, and the void was distorted. So fast. Neferpitou was taken aback, and quickly summoned the puppeteer, HxH. At the same moment, a puppeteer emerged from behind Neferpitou. The puppeteer manipulated Neferpitou's body through chanting strings, trying to explode with strength and speed beyond the limit. However, Neferpitou was shocked to find that he couldn't move, and neither could the puppeteers behind him. What happened? The void is twisted. Neferpitou looked horrified. Roar. The crimson dragon devoured Neferpitou directly, and Lan Fei's figure appeared after the 957. Die. Without the slightest hesitation, Lan Fei kicked Neferpitou directly. Boom. Neferpitou's eyes widened, and he flew upside down. The puppeteer behind him dissipated directly under Lan Fei's feet. The terrifying crimson air wave rolled out in all directions, and the forest within 100 meters was completely raised flat land. Not good. Everyone be careful. Although Kate lost an arm, it didn't affect his strength and judgment in the slightest. He jumped and landed in front of Gon, and a powerful thought field erupted from his body, blocking this wave of terror for Gon air waves. But HxH was not so good, and was directly sent flying tens of meters away by the air wave. As for Kurapika, he is much stronger than Gon and HxH. Under this wave of wind, he was only lifted 10 meters away, and his clothes were a little messed up. Peter. Seeing that Neferpitou was kicked by Lan Fei and coughed up blood, HxH and Menthuthuyupi were all surprised, and quickly chased after Neferpitou. Boom. Bang 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 tilde operator. The power of this kick caused Neferpitou's body to fly back continuously, and she knocked down giant trees one after another, but she still couldn't stop her flying backwards. Neferpitou's crimson eyes had a hint of fear and despair at the moment. She coughed up blood, and some broken internal organs were coughed up, and the purplish-black blood overflowing from the corner of her mouth dyed her whole body red. This boy. Neferpitou opened her eyes wide and stared at Lan Fei. Her eyesight was amazing. Even if she flew thousands of meters upside down, she could still see Lan Fei's aloof figure and indifferent expression. Am I going to die? He will definitely become the biggest threat to the king. However, to be able to display such a powerful force, he will eventually become weak, and at that time, no one can stop the birth of the king. The king at the pinnacle doesn't have to be afraid of this human boy. Wang, even if I die, I will do my best to injure him. At this moment, there was no trace of fear and despair in Neferpitou's eyes, replaced by endless resentment. Boom. After flying upside down for thousands of meters, Neferpitou's figure slammed heavily on a rock wall, directly smashing the rock wall into a deep pit with a size of hundreds of feet, and the whole person was directly sunk in the deep pit, unable to move. And Neferpitou's consciousness gradually became blurred. Her left chest and left arm were all festered, and were smashed to pieces by Lan Fei's kick. What a powerful human youth, with extraordinary talents. At the moment when his consciousness finally disappeared, Neferpitou couldn't help grinning. Great. With such a powerful blow, he must also be very weak. Perhaps, he is trading one life for another at the cost of his life. In this case, you will not be able to threaten the king in the future. Peter. Sensing that Neferpitou's breath was already on the verge of dying, Menthuthuyupi and HxH faced each other at high speed and rushed past Neferpitou. Unfortunately, no matter how fast they were, they couldn't be as fast as Lan Fei. You caught a mirror. A golden light slowly condensed in Lan Fei's hand, and then emitted, forming a refracted light track. The whole person suddenly disappeared in place, and arrived in front of Neferpitou in an instant. He came. I'm very glad that I was the one who was killed. Wang, I'm sorry, I couldn't wait for you to be born, and I couldn't fulfill the responsibility of guarding. Neferpitou raised his head with difficulty. You haven't died yet. I have to say that your physical strength is really abnormal. Lan Fei said lightly. Even if it's death, I want you to pay the price. Neferpitou spoke with difficulty. Boom. Lan Fei stepped forward directly, and punched Neferpitou's head with a powerful punch. In an instant, blood spattered, and Neferpitou's head exploded directly. Make me pay for it. You are not worthy, Lan Fei said coldly. Peter. At this moment, HxH arrived first, but when he saw the scene in front of him, he couldn't help being shocked. The Neferpitou in front of me is too miserable. It's just horrible. Half of the body has been shattered, and even the head is left with a pool of purple-black blood. Peter. How could this be? Menthuthuyupi also arrived, and when he saw Neferpitou's tragic situation, an extremely powerful force of anger burst out from his body. Excuse me, you are one step late. Lan Fei turned around slowly, tilted his head towards HxH and Menthuthuyupi, and grinned. Whoosh whoosh. 3.8 At the same time, Kate, Gon, HxH, and Kurapika all chased after them, but when they saw the scene in front of them, they were all shocked. I saw Lan Fei's right hand was covered in blood, and the purple-black blood dripped down to the ground along his fingers. Behind Lan Fei, half of Neferpitou's body was shattered, and even his head was turned into a puddle of blood. The end was extremely tragic. But at this moment, Neferpitou's body, which was originally dead, floated up at this moment. That was the resentment after Neferpitou's death, and HxH was activated directly. For the Ant King, for that obsession, this resentment formed a stronger thought after Neferpito's death, and it became a wholehearted desire to kill Lan Fei. The zombie jumped up from behind Lan Fei, and its undefended sharp claws tore at Lan Fei. Chapter 152 The Disadvantages of Bamen Dunjia. Fight for the last minute. Open black lens bracket subscription close black lens bracket. Not good. Be careful Lan Fei. Seeing Neferpito's body move, Kate shouted instantly. Damn it. Gon's figure flickered, and rushed towards Lan Fei. What a terrible resentment. Isn't this guy dead? HxH gritted his teeth, his speed was much faster than Gon's, and also rushed towards Lan Fei. If there is something wrong with Lan Fei, then the group of them may have to explain it here. After all, Kate has also lost an arm now, and her strength has been greatly reduced. She can't stop the attacks of Troupe and HxH, the two guards directly under the Ant King. Although, the strength of these two people is slightly weaker than that of Neferpito, but, how to say, they are members of the guards directly, and no matter how weak their strength is, they have opened up a level. Clatter. At this time, Kurapika was also in a hurry, and the manipulator chain in his hand was also thrown out, entwining towards Lan Fei. It's a pity that Neferpito's resentment is too great, which raised her strength to another level, faster and stronger than before, directly tearing Lan Fei's body apart. Seeing that Lan Fei's chest was directly pierced by Neferpito's sharp claws from behind, he couldn't help but widen his eyes. Peter. HxH was shocked to see Lan Fei being pierced through the chest by Neferpito's body, although Neferpito's death made him feel angry, but now Neferpito was able to severely injure Lan Fei with the resentment after death, which is considered a great achievement. At least, the Ant King has one less enemy. Roar. At this time, Troupe let out a roar, and rushed towards Lan Fei. The tentacles behind him burst out a powerful thought field, and all the power was concentrated on his fist light, wanting to kill Lan Fei in front of him. When it comes to Neferpito's attack, deliver a fatal blow. Sneak attack. Lan Fei's face was as calm as ever. He looked at the sharp claws piercing through his chest, and then at Troupe who was rushing towards him with a strong murderous aura, and then he couldn't help grinning. Okay. Seeing Lan Fei's weird smile, Troupe's heart skipped a beat for some reason. But, in order to kill Lan Fei, he already didn't care so much. Boom. Troupe's punch directly locked Lan Fei's head, and the air burst. Wang. Suddenly, Lan Fei's figure turned into streaks of dazzling golden light, and disappeared directly in place. There was no blood spatter on Neferpito's chest that was pierced by Neferpito, and Troupe's fatal blow missed even more, and directly hit Neferpito's chest on the corpse. Rumble. In an instant, Neferpito's body was directly smashed by Troupe, and the ground was cracked by this terrifying fist light, directly smashing out a huge deep pit, and Neferpito's body fell deeply into the deep pit. Can't move anymore. Damn it. Yuppie, you brainless idiot. Seeing this, HxH cursed. Fortunately, Neferpito was dead, and the last resentment was smashed by Troupe's punch. Quote. I didn't mean to. Peter, I'm sorry. Don't worry, I will avenge you. Troupe turned around and stared at Kate, Gon, HxH, and Kurapika with bared teeth, his eyes full of killing intent. At this moment, streaks of golden light slowly passed in front of Kate, finally condensing the figure of Lan Fei. Just kidding. Lan Fei has a shiny fruit in his body, which can be an elemental word, and other people's sneak attacks can't hurt him at all. Unless he encounters the kind of Nen who has the ability to restrain, Lan Fei will not be easily injured. It's just that Lan Fei's current aura has also begun to weaken. It would consume too much strength and willpower for him to open the 8-door dungeon, and with 1 against 3, he would not be able to bear it after all. Although the 3 people in front of them are weaker than the Ant King, they are also members of the guard directly under the Ant King, and their strength may only be rivaled by members of the 12 earthly branches of the Hunter Association. Like Kate, one Neferpito could kill him, let alone the other 2. Lan Fei, are you okay? Kate was a little worried. It's fine for now. However, let's retreat first. Although we can't find the Queen's nest yet, but we can meet the 3 masters directly under the guard here to stop us. Presumably, the Queen's nest should be in this area. Lan Fei nodded. This trip can be regarded as a huge harvest, killing one of the super powerful Catwoman. Kurapika took a deep breath. The price is a bit high. Kate's left arm has been broken. HxH reminded. Kate, if you retreat later, put on the broken belt. It should be possible to find a way to sew the broken arm back together. Gon comforted. He thought of Maki, a former member of Phantom Troupe. She had super suturing ability, but it was a pity that she had been killed by Hisoka. However, with so many Nen in the Hunter Association, it should be possible to find another Nen with the ability to stitch. Okay. Don't worry, I know what to do. Kate took a deep look at Neferpito's body, which was lying motionless in the pit. It was this Catwoman who caused him to lose a 310 arm. The gap between the two is really one sky and one earth, not at the same level at all. If it weren't for Lan Fei, they might have been wiped out during this trip. Okay, I have 1 last minute. I'll fight for you. If the time is up, I'm afraid I won't be able to raise any strength within half an hour, so don't leave me alone. Lan Fei looked at Gon beside him and reminded him. Don't worry, we will take you back safely. Gon gritted his teeth. The last minute left. Hearing this, Kate couldn't help but frown. In this state of Lan Fei, he can only maintain it for 10 minutes. 10 minutes later, he will become a helpless person, and it will take half an hour to recover. Kurapika explained. After all, He is the only person who has seen Lan Fei perform the Eight-Gate Dunjia, so he naturally knows the flaws of Lan Fei's opening the Eight-Gate Dunjia. Five-legged. Boom. As soon as the words fell, Lan Fei's energy was a little sluggish, but he still burst out a wave of thought field that was not weaker than before, directly blasting out a super powerful fist glow of compressed air, and the fist glow finally turned into an air cannon. As they charged towards Menthathupi and Shyapov, the void was distorted. Chapter 153 Retreat. Lan Fei's weakness is discovered. Open black lens bracket subscription close black lens bracket. Not good. This trick again. As this young man's anger constantly flowing. Seeing Lan Fei cast the evening image again, Shyapov's face changed suddenly again. Although Shixiang's power could not pose a death threat to him, it was enough to knock him hundreds of meters away. Damn it. Boom. On Menthathuyupi's body, a powerful thought field erupted again, the tentacles on his body slowly hugged each other, and then he threw out the strongest punch, facing Lan Fei's evening vision. Although he has no brains, he is a fighting maniac. Even though he knows that he will lose to Lan Fei, he still bites the bullet, because his mission is to protect the Ant King. The Ant King has not yet been born. If Lan Fei and others humans are killed in the abdomen of the Queen Ant, that is the greatest loss of chimeric ants. Overreach. Seeing Menthathuyupi's direct punch, Lan Fei couldn't help snorting coldly. Exclamation mark, comma, 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 comma. In an instant, the air cannon fired by Lan Fei collided directly with Menthathuyupi's fist light, and they met each other tightly. Menthathuyupi's figure was blown away like a kite that had been disconnected, drawing a distance of several hundred meters in the void, and finally ruthlessly hit a giant tree, and then stopped. Cough. Immediately afterwards, a mouthful of blood coughed out from Menthathuyupi's mouth, and the breath of the whole person became wilted again. Just kidding, how can Menthathuyupi be able to resist the power of an elephant? With the Eight-Gate Dunjia enabled, in the entire chimeric ant colony, the only one who can fight Lan Fei one-on-one is the unborn Ant King. Looking at the entire human world, only the world's top 5 powerhouses can confront Lan Fei head-on. And Menthathuyupi is far from reaching such a height and level. Of course, Shyapov didn't feel well either. In the last minute, Lan Fei used Shixiang to punch twice, and 2 air cannons directly blasted at Menthathuyupi and Shyapov. Boom. The powerful air cannon distorted the void, and Shyapov's figure was blown away again, flying hundreds of meters away in the void before hitting the ground, creating a huge deep hole in the ground. Pit. Cracks spread out from the deep pit. The scene is very shocking. Damn it. Exclamation mark. Shyapov also spat out a mouthful of blood, and his face turned extremely ugly. He is frustrated. When encountering a human like Lan Fei, he doesn't have the strength to fight back at all, he is completely crushed. Lan Fei is still invincible with 1 enemy and 3. Such a terrifying existence can definitely threaten the future king. It's just that their 3 direct guards have tried their best, but they still can't hurt Lan Fei. Can you not feel aggrieved? If this continues, he will play to death. With such a fist, the next 2 or 3 punches may be the limit. If he can use it indefinitely, it will be a nightmare for my chimera ant race. Shyapov gritted his teeth, moved his body with difficulty, and stood up from the deep pit. Okay. Suddenly, Shyapov was startled, and under the induction of his circle, the chi on Lan Fei's body was rapidly decreasing. What happened? Could it be that this boy has reached his limit? Shyapov's eyes lit up suddenly. Right, absolutely. No matter how strong his strength is, there will always be limits. This young man's aura is decreasing sharply, and he should have reached his limit. It's been about 10 minutes since Neferpitou fought him. Then his limit should be that he can only stay in this state for 10 minutes. Within 10 minutes, he can have the strength to crush us. Now, he has reached his limit, so he can't keep the energy in his body anymore. Shyapov squeezed his chin and began to speculate. As a chimeric ant with a high IQ, his brain is no worse than Neferpitou's, and he can be regarded as the strongest brain power among the 3 direct guards. He guessed Lan Fei's flaws immediately. To be able to explode with such a strong strength, even if he is a human being with extraordinary talents, his ability should be limited. Now, his aura is declining sharply, and he is no longer considered a special human being. Next, it's time to fight back. Once this kind of talented human being is eaten by the Queen Ant, it will definitely become the most abundant nutrition for the Ant King. It won't take long for the Ant King to be born. Shyapov took a deep breath, and instantly had the confidence to fight back. Quote. I cannot make it. On the other side, when Lan Fei used Shixiang to blast out the last 2 punches, his aura had reached its limit, because 10 minutes had passed, and he could no longer maintain the state of full-level Bamen Dunjia. Now, he is no different from a useless person. The whole person was already unable to stand still. Fortunately, Gon was in time and quickly supported Lan Fei's fallen figure. First. Retreat first. You are not their opponent. Lan Fei fell into Gon's arms weakly. Let's withdraw first. The strength of those 2 people, we are indeed not rivals. Kate stared at Lan Fei with a serious face. Yeah, before they noticed, we evacuated the doctor. Once they react, it will be troublesome. Kurapika walked slowly to Gon's side, and continued. Lan Fei will take half an hour to recover, so don't make any mistakes during this half hour, otherwise, weak Zhaolis can only become ants. The next meal. Gon, let me recite Lan Fei. Everyone retreat quickly. Kurapika directly took Lan Fei in Gon's arms, and carried Lan Fei behind his back. Whoosh. Well aware of Lan Fei's flaws, Kurapika did not dare to neglect, and took the lead in retreating behind Lan Fei's back. After all, when Lan Fei fought Crollo, he also opened the 8 Door Dunjia, and in the end it was Kurapika who left with Lan Fei on his back. Gone, HxH, you guys retreat first, I'll be the last one. Although I lost an arm, my strength is not affected. We try to withdraw from their circular sensing range as much as possible. Kate reminded, and quickly picked up her broken arm. Whoosh whoosh. In an instant, Gon and HxH did not dare to neglect, turned around and retreated quickly, and chased after Kurapika. Chapter 154 The Hunter Association takes action. President Tero arrives on the battlefield. Open black lens bracket subscription close black lens bracket. Okay. Are they going to retreat? Under the induction of his own circle, Shyapov instantly felt something was wrong. Damn it, don't let them escape. How can Menthathuyupi's violent temper allow Lan Fei and others to retreat safely? Boom. In an instant, the tentacles on Menthathuyupi's body erupted with an astonishing aura, and the whole person bared his teeth and entered a berserk state. Yuppie. Forget it, stop chasing. It could be a trap. Also, Peter is dead, this must be reported to Her Majesty the Queen. Shyapov waved off Menthathuyupi's pursuit. I have to say that although Menthathuyupi is a big fool with no brains, his anti-fighting ability is the strongest among the 3 direct guards. Even if he is attacked by Lan Fei, he has rough skin and thick flesh. Not a problem at all. But, we can't let Peter die in vain like this. Menthathuyupi gritted his teeth. Don't worry, I have almost figured out the weaknesses and flaws of this human boy now. I will definitely kill him next time we fight. Also, Wang Ji is about to be born. At this juncture, no mistakes can be made. I'm afraid they are trying to lure us out, and finally let other human beings copy the lair. Shyapov 573 exhorted. Indeed, as the one with the highest IQ among the 3 guards, Shyapov naturally took this issue into consideration. If the 2 of their direct guards are also drawn away, who will protect Her Majesty the Queen? I am afraid that the entire lair may be taken over by a strong human being. Okay, just listen to you. Menthathuyupi took a deep breath, suppressing the violent breath on his body. Take Peter's body back first. Shyapov flapped his wings and flew towards Neferpito's body. Half an hour later, everyone withdrew to the 2 big trees that had just entered the territory of NGL. They didn't catch up. The circle released by Kate slowly disappeared, the whole person was breathing heavily, and his face also looked a little pale. Release the circle for a long time, maintain the state of the most extreme radius, a master as strong as Kate, can't bear it at this moment. Kate, if it weren't for your help, I'm afraid it would not be easy to retreat all the way. Thanks. Lan Fei patted Kurapika on the shoulder and motioned for Kurapika to put himself off his back. Kurapika, thank you for your hard work, half an hour has passed, and I have recovered. Just recover. Kurapika nodded. Next, what's the plan? Kate, let's evacuate first, and sew your severed arm back together first. If you lose an arm, your combat power will drop. Gon looked at Kate beside him. The severed arm in Kate's hand looked particularly Liao Ren, making people unconsciously recall the previous scene. Well, let's get out first. See what the Hunter Association has planned before making a decision. Kate nodded. Let's retreat. Although I have recovered my strength now, I still can't take over the Queen Ant's nest. After all, there are 2 direct guards guarding the Queen Ant. Perhaps, we have been unable to prevent the birth of the King Ant. Lan Fei reminded. Ant King. HxH frowned. Once the Ant King is born, it will be a catastrophe for our humanity. Kurapika, remember Nyan Nasra's prophetic poem. This disaster is inevitable. Lan Fei looked at Kurapika aside. Since there is no way to avoid it, we can only face it. I'd like to see if the prophetic poem is really destiny. Kurapika squinted his eyes, recalling in his mind the prophecy poem that he asked Nyan Nasra to divination. The spider's head flashed and appeared in the eyes of dawn, and the east direction was his peak. The sound of ants overflows from the bottom of HxH's heart bit by bit, and the fiery red eyes will be swallowed by the darkness. At that moment, the king of mankind AFAG will eventually lose his breath. Fire red eye will be swallowed by darkness, and he will die in the hands of the Ant King, or, be blackened. Hey, at this moment, Kate took out her mobile phone and dialed. What? The Ant King's direct guard. You broke an arm. What happened? On the other end of the phone, there was an exclamation. At the same time, the owner of the voice is driving slowly towards this side in a truck. Hey, wait a minute, what are you doing? As soon as the exclamation fell, the phone on the other end was robbed, and then a deep voice came. Well, I understand. Anyway, you stay there first, we are just on the way to your place now, and, with reinforcements in the past. Reinforcements. After hanging up the phone, Kate couldn't help but frown. The Hunter Association is about to act. However, unless it is the action of the 12 land branches in the Hunter Association, the average hunter may not even be able to protect himself. Reinforcement. Has the Hunter Association acted? Hearing this, Lan Fei's eyes lit up. Even if it is the Hunter Association's actions, it must at least have a hunter with Kate's strength, otherwise, it will only die in vain. Quote. Knowing the strength of the 3 direct guards, HxH couldn't help shaking his head. Yes, don't forget my prophecy poem, the spiders should also break into the territory of NGL. Let's see who the reinforcements are before making a decision. A truck slowly stopped beside 2 giant trees. This person is the Netero president of the Hunter Association. Lan Fei looked at Gon, Xia, and Kurapika beside him. The leader was an old man in a white loose Taoist robe. If it really doesn't work, after I sew up the broken arm, I will act together with Lan Fei, and I will definitely destroy the entire nest of chimeric ants. Gon nodded. Kurapika looked at Lan Fei. The division commanders and army commanders of chimeric ants can be fearless, but the guards directly under the three ant kings are too perverted, and ordinary hunters are really no match. Well, the plan works. Half an hour later, Lan Fei and the others were all paying attention, looking solemnly at the figures coming down from the truck. Kate exhorted. After all, the strength of the three of you is still a little weaker. If you follow along, it will distract us. Let's wait here first, and see who the reinforcements are. No, I will follow you no matter what. Lan Fei sighed. Chapter 155 The Whereabouts of Gold, The Dark Continent Open Black Lens Bracket Subscription Close Black Lens Bracket. Behind President Netero is a white-haired man with a huge pipe on his back and sunglasses. This man is none other than Mo Laowu. Next to Mo Laowu was a man who looked very gentle with glasses. President Netero. Seeing the reinforcements, Kate couldn't help but startled. Did the president of the Hunter Association come out in person? It turned out to be this old man. Xia also felt incredible. Even the president of the Hunter Association has made a move, and the situation should be stable. Has the so-called strongest human being in the world made a move? Lan Fei squinted his eyes, staring at President Netero with great interest. The strength of these three people is very strong. Kurapika can vaguely feel the super strong mind field of the three presidents of Netero. However, he has a feeling that even if the three presidents of Netero join forces, it may be difficult to take down the entire nest of chimeric ants. Because, Shyapov and Menthuthyupi's mind fields are also very strong, stronger than those of Hisoka and Yermi. Of course, this is just Kurapika's personal opinion. After all, he has never seen the true strength of Chairman Netero, so he naturally doubted it. Are you all right? President Netero glanced at the five people in front of him, and finally landed on Lan Fei. Long time no see, brat. Old man, long time no see. Lan Fei grinned. Lan Fei, he is the president of Netero. Kate gave Lan Fei a hard look. One must know that this old man in front of him is the ceiling of human beings. Looking at the entire Hunter Association, who would dare not respect him? But Lan Fei, dare to call Netero the elder. Don't die. You little devil, as always, you don't know how to respect the elderly. President Netero shook his head with a wry smile, and shifted his gaze to the broken arm Kate. The enemy is really strong. Well, I'm not an opponent at all. If it hadn't been for Lan Fei's action, it would be difficult for our group to get out alive. Kate nodded. Kate, even you are not an opponent. As the enemy that strong. You are Jin's most proud disciple. Mo Laowu frowned. The strength of the enemy is beyond imagination, and the three of them are only the direct guards of the Ant King. If the Ant King is born, I don't know what kind of perverted existence it will be. Kate took a deep breath, recalling Neferpito's strength as still lingering fear. It seems that things are far more difficult than we imagined. The gentle man next to Mo Laowu adjusted his glasses frame. It's just that, except for Kate, all of you are little devils, so naturally they are no match for those chimeric ants. Kate, are you really not afraid of death if you dare to go deep into the territory of NGL with these brats? Mo Laowu stared at Kate with a somewhat arrogant tone. Mo Laowu, they are not ordinary little ghosts, they are all professional hunters who have obtained hunter qualification certificates. Also, this little guy named Lan Fei has unfathomable strength, and I'm afraid you are no match for him. President Netero said calmly. What? President Netero, are you joking? Mo Laowu was taken aback. I'm not joking with you. I had a short fight with this brat. I recognize his strength. President Netero stared at Lan Fei with a smile. Indeed, Lan Fei is very powerful. In my opinion, it should be comparable to the strength of the world's top 5 powerhouses. Kate said seriously. Comparable to the strength of the world's top 5 powerhouses. The gentleman wearing glasses was also shocked at the moment. The strength of the emotional team is not weak, but they still can't destroy the nest of chimera ants, and even Kate has lost his arm. How terrifying is the enemy's strength? Okay, since you are all exhausted, then let the three of us take action. Kate, find someone to sew your arm back quickly, or it won't get infected. President Netero exhorted. Understood. Kate nodded. President Netero, can we come with you? Gon gritted his teeth and looked at President Netero expectantly. I can see that you have already developed a fear of chimeric ants, so I don't need it. I have arranged 2 assassins in a nearby town. If you can defeat them, come find us again. I don't need useless helpers around, I just need strong ones. President Netero said lightly. Yeah, you have been scared away, and you are already losers in this battle. Mo Laowu glanced at Gon. Gon, don't hold back President Netero and the others just yet. After going through this battle, you should all realize the difference in strength between yourself and these monsters, right? Hurry up and become stronger, otherwise, you will never be called strong. Kate exhorted. This is the talisman on the 2 assassins I arranged. After you defeat them, you should be able to protect yourself. Chairman Netero directly took out 2 talismans from his arms and threw them to Chiya. 0. By the way, kid, do you want to join our team? President Netero looked at Lan Fei. No need. I'll stay with Gon, Chiya, Kurapika. Kate stared at Gon, and said meaningfully. It's only a matter of time before the chimeric ants are eradicated. President Netero turned around and waved to Lan Fei. Gone, Chiya, Lan Fei, Kurapika, if you enter NGL territory again, remember to be careful. Kate, do you know where Kim is? Kate waved her hand, turned and left directly. There will be a period later. Master, you should have entered the Dark Continent. Netero will take the lead, so there shouldn't be any problem. Okay, I'm off to get my arm stitched up. Lan Fei spread his hands and directly rejected the invitation of President Netero. Also, Gon, when your strength is ready to compete with me, you should be able to go to Jin. In that case, let's go first. Kate secretly said, and slowly disappeared under the sight of Lan Fei and others. You are all an elderly team, and you have no vitality at all. Gon's eyes lit up, and he hurriedly asked. President Netero should know. A real fight. After the chimeric ants are solved, you can ask President Netero for news about Jin. Chapter 156 Mo Laowu's disciple Nakulu and Shutuo open black lens bracket subscription close black lens bracket. Let's go. Let's find a place to rest first. Let's choose the nearest town. I've been in the NGL territory for so long, and I'm hungry. Watching Kate's leaving back, Lan Fei rubbed his stomach. Well, Gon and I are too weak, and we need to improve. Chiya nodded, holding 2 talismans left by the 2 Netero presidents in his hand. Kurapika, what are your plans? Gon looked at Kurapika. I'll be with you too, and when I get to the nearest town, I'll see if I can find any trace of Phantom Troupe. Kurapika spread her hands. In that case, let's go. Lan Fei grinned, his figure flickered, and he swept towards the direction of the nearest town. Although Lan Fei is very confident in his own strength, after this battle, he also knows the terrible strength of the 3 major guards directly under the Ant King. If the Ant King is born, even if he opens the 8 doors of armor, I am afraid that it will not be able to cause the slightest harm to him. The only way is to cast his own curse Nen. However, if you want to cut the Ant King with the Tiankongan sword and get the blood of the Ant King, it is not easy. After all, President Netero couldn't do any harm to the Ant King when he used the 100 Styles of Avalokitesvara. In the end, he used the poor man's rose bomb to kill the Ant King. Of course, the Ant King did not die when the bomb exploded. The Ant King finally inhaled the poison in the bomb and finally died. This shows how terrible the Ant King is. In one-on-one situations, the Ant King is definitely the most invincible. After an hour, the 4 finally arrived at the town closest to NGL. Gululu. Walking on the bustling streets of the town, Lan Fei's stomach started to growl. Very hungry. Lan Fei rubbed his stomach, couldn't help but shook his head with a wry smile. The previous battle had cost him too much energy and thought power. Even though he recovered his physical strength now, Lan Fei couldn't bear the hunger. I'm hungry too, I want to eat ramen. Gon looked around curiously. Caw caw caw. At this time, Chiya was weighing 2 bamboo knots in his hand, and made a sound. What is this? Gon on the side is very curious, although he knows that Chiya took it from President Netero, but he doesn't know the purpose of the bamboo joint. This is a talisman, and the marked bamboo or wood is broken into 2 pieces, and each side holds 1 piece, which is usually used as a certificate for companions or documents. Kurapika next to Chiya explained. After all, he had also heard what President Netero said before. President Netero had arranged for 2 assassins in this town. As long as they defeat these 2 assassins, the strength of Gon and Chiya should be greatly improved. Going deep into the territory of NGU also has the ability to protect itself. Well, according to President Netero's words, as long as we defeat these 2 assassins and get the other half of their talismans, we will have the strength to protect ourselves. Chiya said lightly. By the way, Kurapika, how is your strength compared to Kate's? Chiya turned to look at Kurapika. I'm not as good as him. My Nen is mostly used to deal with Phantom Troupe. Once the enemy is not a member of Phantom Troupe, my strength will decline. Kurapika shook him with a wry smile. In this trip, his target is Phantom Troupe, not Chimera Ants. Okay, you guys have something to eat first, I'll go ahead. Jonyan Nostra's prophetic poem is accurate, and Phantom Troupe should also appear here. Kurapika waved to Lan Fei, Gon, and Chiya. Kurapika, if you find a member of Phantom Troupe, remember to inform us, don't bite the bullet alone. After all, now that Phantom Troupe knows your Nen, it's impossible to catch you by surprise. Lan Fei exhorted. Understood. You must also pay attention to safety. If you encounter an invincible chimeric ant, it is important to escape. Kurapika waved his hand and turned away. Lan Fei, why do I have an ominous premonition? Looking at the back of Kurapika leaving, Gon couldn't help frowning. What premonition? Lan Fei was a little surprised. I can't tell. Gon shook his head. Okay, let's go eat first. Chiya patted Gon on the shoulder, turned and walked towards a ramen restaurant. Uncle, bring us 3 big bowls of ramen. As soon as he walked into the ramen restaurant, Lan Fei yelled directly at the boss. Okay, please wait a moment. The uncle in chef uniform nodded with a smile on his face. There are so few people here, it feels like there is no business. Lan Fei glanced at the entire ramen restaurant. There were only 7 or 8 diners, and there was no one at all. NGL is a very remote area. This town is the closest to NGL, so there are naturally no people there. Chiya found a seat by the window and sat down. Not long after, the drawing board brought up 3 big bowls of ramen. Go ahead. Staring at the big bowl of ramen in front of him, Lan Fei couldn't bear it any longer, and started to gobble it up. Should you be Lan Fei, Gon, Chiya? Suddenly, a strange woman wearing a long skirt and messy hair and shawl walked slowly to Lan Fei's table. She has a pair of red pupils, and her tone of voice is like that of a man who has just been trampled by a cruel man. Look. You are. Lan Fei ignored the crazy woman, still spitting out noodles. Gon and Chi-Ya, on the other hand, slowly stopped the chopsticks in their hands. They looked at each other, and both saw the tension in each other's eyes. I'm meeting you for the first time. My name is Pam. Please give me your advice. The woman opened her eyes wide, and continued unhurriedly. I hate it, you don't need to be so nervous. It seems that the president didn't tell you the details. I'm Teacher Nobu's apprentice, although the teacher always said I was in the way, but I still bit the bullet and followed. Teacher Nobu, is it the man with glasses next to President Netero? 2.4. Lan Fei picked up the big bowl, harvested all the last soup, and then slowly looked at Pang who was beside him. That's right, it's a gentleman in a black suit and eyes. My teacher is a great person. As expected of a chatterbox, Pang kept chattering on and on. Boom. Suddenly, Chi-Ya punched the table. He was already very impatient. Stop talking nonsense. Are you one of the assassins? President Netero said. You brat, can't you listen to me well? Your goal is to take Kulu and Shuto. According to President Netero's words, only by defeating these two can you have the strength to protect yourself in the Chimera Ant nest. And, the two of them are Mo Lao Wu's apprentices. Pam said meaningfully. Chapter 157 I see the muscular ant Bisji again. Lan Fei's plan open black lens bracket subscription close black lens bracket. Taking cool, Shoutu. Hearing Pam's words, Gon couldn't help but startled. Well, this is an opportunity given to us by the president of Netero. I am now in your group. Those who can go to NGL again are either our group or those like Kulu and Shuto. The deadline is 1 month. You have a month to improve your strength. Pang put away his sickly look, and said to Chi-Ya and Gon seriously. Gon, Chi-Ya, you guys have to work hard. Lan Fei on the side reminded. In a tavern in town. The talisman cannot be released within a month, which means that there is a high possibility that someone will come to snatch it from us. Shutuo played with a talisman with the word, horn, in his hand, and then used his nen to imprint this talisman into his palm to prevent it from being snatched away. Nakulu, what are you going to do? Shutuo looked at a man in a white robe sitting in front of him. Is this still a question? Of course it's a preemptive strike. Find people out and kill them. The O5 veins on Nakulu's forehead protruded, showing the most vicious look. Soon, Nakulu was walking on the bustling streets of the town with a loudspeaker in his stomach, and began to threaten with words, My name is Nakulu. Bayan, I am a beast hunter. I want to hunt down two. The alternate members of the team will come to me for a duel at 0 o'clock tonight. I will not run or hide, nor will I take weapons, nor will I bring my companions. I will wait for you alone. I will be upright. Teach me how to compete. This guy, how arrogant. Yeah, if you want to fight someone, you have to say a place. On the street, many people also cast speechless glances at Nakulu. Arrogant is arrogant, but you have to be smart. Don't even mention the location of the appointment, who knows where you are going to duel. Have you heard that? It's the sound tank of Kulu. In the ramen restaurant, when Nakulu passed by the noodle restaurant with a loudspeaker, Pam couldn't help reminding, this person is a beast hunter, very powerful. Of course, neither he nor Shuto know your names, so you can rest assured. Okay, my words have been conveyed in place, I'll go first. By the way, when you're full, come find me at this address, and I'll prepare a surprise for you. Pam got up slowly, left an address on the table, and then left the ramen restaurant quietly. Lan Fei, what's the strength of this cool kill? Watching Pam leave the ramen restaurant, Chi-Ya turned to look at Lan Fei. At least, you are not his opponent now. Lan Fei said lightly. Lan Fei, your strength is so strong, can you train us? Gon on the side winked at Lan Fei. I can't do this job. Lan Fei smiled wryly and shook his head, although I am very strong, I don't know how to train a person. After all, everyone has their own way to be strong. Indeed, Lan Fei's road to becoming a strong man is the system, the shiny fruit is given by the system, the 8-door armor is also given by the system, even the cursed nen is given by the system, and he doesn't have much training experience at all. Okay, if we want to win Nakulu, we must have a 50% or even 70% chance of winning. So, to achieve this goal, we must do two things. The first is to improve the basic ability as soon as possible and understand the opponent's ability. As long as we understand the opponent's ability, we can formulate tactics as easily as defeating Gon Shu. Quote. Chi-Ya looked at Gon and said unhurriedly. Chi-Ya, your idea is good. Although I can't provide you with any help, I agree with half of your words and half against them. Lan Fei grinned. What's the meaning? Gon stared at Lan Fei. A powerful enemy will not give you time to understand his abilities. Just like the 3 direct guards of the Ant King before, they will never give you a chance. Even a Nen master as strong as Kate can be defeated in the blink of an eye. With a severed arm, even if you understand the enemy's abilities, it may take a long time to formulate a tactic to win him. However, time waits for no one, and the enemy will not give any opportunity to break through. Therefore, you need to be strong yourself to strike iron. What you have to do now is not to defeat Nakulu and Shutuo, but strengthen your own strength. That is to say, even if you don't know the enemy's detailed capabilities, you must have the overwhelming strength to defeat the enemy. With such strength, we don't need to obey President Netero's words, and we don't need to join President Netero's team. The 3 of us are enough. Lan Fei winked at Gon. After all, once the Ant King is born, the only ones who can compete with the Ant King are President Tero and himself. However, to fight against the Ant King, Lan Fei must activate the 8 Door Dunjia to be able to fight. Moreover, the 8 Door Dunjia can only be activated for 10 minutes. After 10 minutes, Lan Fei will become a powerless cripple. In this case, Gon and HxH can only delay the Ant King for half an hour, because after half an hour, 283 Lan Fei can recover his strength again. Therefore, what Gon and HxH have to do now is to strengthen their own strength, at least to have the strength comparable to the 12 earthly branches of the Hunter Association. Otherwise, the three-person action is doomed to fail again. If he can't reach this strength, Lan Fei can only choose to join the team of President Tero. I'm stuffed. What about you? Lan Fei rubbed his stomach. I'm full too. Gon nodded. Follow this address to find Pam. Didn't she say to prepare a surprise for us? HxH stood up directly. Soon, the three of them left the ramen restaurant and Jingyu followed the address left by Chongmu. Not long after, the three of them came to a restaurant and found a room specified in the address. That's it. Gon took a deep breath and was about to go up and knock on the door. At this moment, the door was slowly pushed open, and a heavy punch came out without warning, directly hitting Gon's forehead. Boom. In an instant, without any warning, Gon's figure flew upside down. What? You idiot. Gon, you're still so weak. I saw a petite figure walking out of the room. It was the old friend muscular Big Mom Bisji who everyone was familiar with. Chapter 158 President Netero's self-mockery, Gon and HxH's life-threatening special training open black lens bracket subscription close black lens bracket. BB Siki. Seeing the figure coming out of the room, even the extremely calm Lan Fei was quite surprised at the moment. To be able to meet the muscular Aunt Bisky again in this kind of place. How come? Bisky, why are you here? Gon, who was blown away by the punch, held his forehead and stared at Bisky with surprise on his face. What happened? HxH also looked confused. Haven't seen you for a long time. Bai Siji smiled slightly, and continued. I heard that you have gone deep into the territory of NGL and encountered danger, so I came to take a look. Gon, HxH, your strength needs to be improved. I was the one who asked her to come here. At this time, behind Bisky, Pang Mu still looked sickly, and said unhurriedly, I have investigated your identities, and I know the relationship between you. Investigated us. HxH's complexion changed slightly. Well, as long as I use my abilities, it's not difficult at all to investigate the few of you. Okay, time is precious, let's start now. Start the plan to eliminate Mo Lao's apprentice. Pam showed a weird smile. Your ability. Lan Fei frowned, feeling that every professional hunter is not an idler. The sick-looking woman in front of her may be similar to Nen from Pakunoda in Phantom Troupe. Bisji, Gon, HxH will be left to you. I'm not good at training. Lan Fei blinked at Bisji. Don't worry, just leave it to me. Well, let's start now. Bai Siji turned around slowly and took HxH and Gon to the hotel gym. I won't bother you anymore. I slept in this room first. I've consumed too much energy these days and I'm a little tired. Quote. Lan Fei waved his hand and walked directly into Pam's room. Hey, this is the room I booked. Pang changed his sickly look and shouted at Lan Fei. So what? It's a big deal to sleep together. Lan Fei looked indifferent, and fell directly on the soft bed. It's so comfortable. The comfort I haven't seen for a long time, I can finally sleep comfortably. Since leaving the Sky Arena, it has been a long time since I took a break from the pre-server. Lan Fei smacked his lips, and then directly closed his eyes. Seeing Lan Fei lying shamelessly in the room he reserved, Pam had the urge to grit his teeth. However, Pam didn't dare to do anything to Lan Fei. After all, she also investigated Lan Fei and knew that Lan Fei defeated Shen Saiyu, the owner of the 250th floor in the Sky Arena. And Shen Saiyu is a member of the 12 earthly branches of the Hunter Association, and his strength is unfathomable. Those who can defeat Nen like this may have the strength comparable to the world's top 5 powerhouses. This brat. Pang gritted his teeth, he could only turn around and leave, and opened a new room. Gym. Well, let's start the special training now. The first is to practice. As soon as Bai Siji finished speaking, Gon and HxH released their energy at the same time, and the energy in their bodies was continuously released. This state must be maintained for at least 3 hours. Bai Siji, as someone who has been there, Zhang is still old and hot, so she directly set a super high-load devil-style special training for the two of them. HxH, how long can you last? Gon turned to look at HxH. In the best form, it can last up to 55 minutes. HxH answered truthfully, I'm about the same as you, also around 50 minutes. Gon gritted his teeth. If you can't even do this, you won't be able to enter the next stage, let alone be able to defeat Nakulu and Yito. The only thing you can do now is practice with the determination to die. Bisky exhorted. Don't underestimate us. Gon and HxH said in unison, with firm gazes in each other's eyes. Soon, the time passed by every minute and every second. After 55 minutes, the two couldn't stand it anymore, unable to maintain the state of training, and both of them fell to the ground profusely with sweat. What? It's been less than an hour since the beginning. Okay, hurry up and continue, to stimulate your potential. Bisaki said impatiently. Damn it. This way I will never catch up with Lan Fei, and I don't want to hold him back. Gon gritted his teeth and stood up, releasing his training again. HxH also gritted her teeth and began to unleash the enormous potential in her body. Are you kidding me? You are the strongest of us humans. After waiting for so long, the time has come when I need my strength to play. This trick is exactly her Nen, the magic beautician, with a peachy breath. Neferpitou, the most powerful of the 3 direct guards, is dead, and Shyapov can only take over the task of Neferpitou, guarding the safety of the entire nest, and ensuring that the ant master can be born soon. The situation is not good. If it's what you say, there's no hunter who can follow. President, you said that the other party is stronger than you. The beauty in uniform was washing Gon and Shiya's fatigue through a piece of beautiful light music. On the other side, NGL territory. Chairman Netero, Mo Lao Wu, and Nobu are standing on a high mountain, looking at the queen ant's nest thousands of miles away. Bai Siji slowly raised her finger, and the pink cold power condensed a beautiful woman in uniform. Although Shyapov's individual combat strength is slightly weaker than Neferpitou's, the overall strength is much stronger than Neferpitou's, and the radius of the circle Shyapov casts is not much worse than Neferpitou's. Therefore, unless a human master of Lan Fei's level shows up, no one can threaten the queen ant's nest. Under the sight of President Netero, he saw Shyapov and Menthuthupi sitting cross-legged on the top of the mound of the nest, Jiao Jiao Jiao. Both of them released their circles at the moment and were vigilant about their surroundings. Those 2 guys might be better than me. Half an hour later, Gon and Shiya lay down again, so tired that they passed out. Hearing this, Nobu gave President Netero a blank look. Bisky grinned. Please, Cookie. Chapter 159 Manipulator, 4th Dimensional Apartment, Chairman Netero counterattacks. It's been half a century since I was the strongest Nen. Now, at most, I can barely compete with the 2 of you. After all, I'm old. President Netero smiled wryly. Even so, you are still very strong, please have some confidence. Nuobu adjusted his glasses frame, and Tongyu respected him as always. My current strength may not even be half of what it was in my heyday. I really don't want to grow old. President Netero pretended to be very depressed. You old man, you really like to show off your tongue. Nobu gave another blank look to President Netero. President, don't belittle yourself, no matter what, we have already penetrated into the territory of NGL, and the battle with Chimera ants will continue. Mo Laowu, who had been silent for a long time, also spoke. If possible, it's best to avoid it as much as possible. It would be best not to fight. After all, our current target is only the queen ant. However, it is very difficult to sneak through the enemy's round surveillance, and I am afraid that fighting will be inevitable. Chairman Netero shook his head. Now that he is old, he has more compassion. Of course, the purpose of our trip is to do what we can do to win. If you have a good way, I would like to hear from 303 Woolen Cloth. You have a lot to worry about. When you asked us to go with you, you must have the answer in your heart, right? Nobu gave a wry smile, and then used his Nen. At his feet, a black hole in space appeared out of thin air, and then he took out a huge tobacco rod, which was Mo Laowu's weapon. Next, let's destroy them quietly. Nobu directly threw the cigarette stick to Mo Laowu beside him. Mo Laowu didn't want to waste too much time, so he directly used his Nen. He took a deep breath to increase his lung capacity to the extreme, and then spit out wisps of smoke from his mouth. The smoke condensed into the appearance of little white rabbits. Obviously, Mo Laowu's ability belongs to emitter. Soon, dense numbers of rabbits gathered beside Mo Laowu, all of which were condensed by his Nen. I think it's time to take it easy. Since you want to fight, you have to enjoy it. Also, at least you must know the number of enemies first. Let's go. Mo Laowu glanced at the rabbits gathered beside him, and a stern effect flashed in his sunglasses. Whoosh whoosh. In an instant, the densely packed rabbits spread out and approached the queen ant's nest. At this moment, the mound of the queen ant's nest is at the highest point. Under the cover of Xiao Yupu's circle, he immediately discovered the invasion of these rabbits. There is a large group of things approaching. It doesn't feel like a creature. Is it the ability of the enemy? Shyapov raised his head slowly, his face became serious. Now that Neferpitou is dead, we'd better not stay away from the lair, or we'll be caught in a trick to divert the tiger away from the mountain, and Her Majesty the Queen will be in danger. Although Menthuthupi has no brains, but for the safety of the queen ant, he also started to use his brains. 2 days later, Gon and Chiya have also started to improve their strength under BCG's difficult special training. After getting Bisji's permission, the 2 began to challenge Nakulu. Of course, Lan Fei did not interfere in BCG's special training for Gon and Chiya. After all, Lan Fei is not very good at training. On a vast grassland far from the town. At this moment, there are 4 figures standing. Lan Fei put his hands under the back of his head and leaned against a tree, watching with great interest Gon and Chiya challenging Nakulan. Bai Siji's difficult special training is still somewhat effective. In the past 2 days, both Gon and Chiya's spirits have greatly improved. Feeling the training released from Gon and Chiya, Lan Fei showed a satisfied smile. You just take cool kill. Gon clenched his fists, fighting intently. Could it be you? The talisman is on you. Staring at the 2 brats in front of him, Nakulu was very surprised. His opponents turned out to be 2 little devils who looked only 11 or 12 years old. What does Chairman Netero think? Looking for 2 little ghosts to be your opponents? It looks like I'm completely underestimated. You even compare me to you little brats. In the eyes of the Master and President Netero, this is the only thing I can do. Holding Kulu's arms around his chest, the veins on his forehead were even more bulging, a powerful thought field burst out from his body, and he walked towards Gon and Chia step by step. What a terrible sense of oppression. We clearly wanted to take the initiative to attack, but we couldn't move. Chia was taken aback, shocked by the terrifying thought field on Nakulin's body. Duel is something like this, where each other wants to block their lives and go all out to fight seriously. 5 hours after waking up after a good night's sleep, you are in the best fighting state, but what are you guys doing now? You're exhausted before you start fighting. Who do you think I am? I really look down on people. Nakulu roared loudly. Boom. Quote. This guy. Stone. Gon punched Nakulin directly. This brat. At this moment, the trio of Netero presidents began to act. NGL territory, and those chimera ants who were pulled into the dimension space are waiting for the trial of President Netero. Suddenly, the chi on Gon became strong again. Rock scissors rock. This is the master. Nakulu opened his mouth, and he was so angry that he passed out. Could it be Enhancer's big idiot? And Nobu also used his 4-dimensional apartment manipulator to pull the chimera ants into his own dimensional space. It's too dramatic. The smoke blown out of Mo Laowu's mouth filled the entire forest at this moment. Sensing the terrifying golden light condensed in Gon's fist, Nakulun's face changed drastically. It seems that he underestimated them for being able to condense such a powerful chi. Seeing that Nakulun was knocked down by Gon's punch, he was stunned. Nakulun couldn't recover for a while, and was directly stunned on the spot. He was directly hit hard in the chest by Gon's punch, and the whole person flew upside down, directly smashing the grass into a huge deep hole. Chapter 160 The final duel between Gon, Chia and Mo Laowu's 5 apprentices open black lens bracket subscription close black lens bracket. Call. This piece of forest shrouded in thick smoke has become even more eerie under the gusts of gloomy wind. What the hell is going on with this thick smoke? In the forest, a chimeric ant that looks very similar to a beetle looks around, with a hint of worry on its face. He is a division commander in the chimera ant army, Chiona. Let's start. Mo Laowu, who was shrouded in thick smoke, grinned, showing a confident smile. Nobu next to Mo Laowu also supported his glasses frame at this moment, and started to use his nen, and saw a dimensional black hole appearing out of thin air under Kiona's feet, and he fell directly into the dimensional black hole. This trick is exactly Nobu's 4th-dimensional apartment. I have to say that Nobu's manipulator is really abnormal. The 4-dimensional apartment can store items and arrest people in. It is simply a very unsolvable method. At this time, in the 4-dimensional apartment, here is a vast expanse of whiteness, which is Nobu's Nen space. Chiona fell into this dimensional space, looking around with a puzzled face. This, here is. So now, let's get started. President Netero, who was sitting cross-legged in the dimensional space, slowly stood up. What? Chiona stared at President Netero with a face full of shock. He didn't expect that there was a strong human being hidden in this strange space, and he was even an old man. And nest. What? Kiona's team is all missing too. Grudo stared at Peggy in disbelief. Is it the same as the Lei Kai team this time? Well, it seems so. First, the captain disappeared, and then the companions disappeared one by one. This situation should be a human counterattack. Moreover, Lord Neferpitou has died in battle. This is an unprecedented loss and disaster for his chimeric ants. Peggy nodded. Even Neferpitou Sama died in battle. It seems that humans have sent super powerful Nen. This matter must be reported to Her Majesty the Queen, and let Her Majesty make a decision. Our lair may have been discovered by humans, and the strong humans have also rushed here. Maybe we will be R******D by humans before the ant is born. It's all in one pot. Grudo pinched his chin and thought. Do you want to suggest that Her Majesty move the city? Move the lair to another safe place? Asked Peggy. I will tell Her Majesty the Queen. It's just that, Her Majesty's stomach is already very big now, and the Ant King will be born in a short time. If you move the nest at this time, I'm afraid it will move the fetal gas, which may affect the ants. The birth of a king. Quote. Grudo took a deep breath. He had many considerations. There are some things, if you can't bother Her Majesty, don't disturb her rest. Her Majesty has only one purpose now, and that is to let the Ant Master be born safely. However, the strength of the strong human beings is too strong. Even Master Neferpitou died in battle. Who can stop the strong human beings? Aren't there 2 adults, Shyapov and Menthathuyupi? The strength of the 2 of them is not inferior to Master Neferpitou. Peggy reminded. Although the strength of the 2 adults is strong, for the safety of Her Majesty the Queen and the Ant King who is about to be born, they must be absolutely foolproof. Grudo gritted his teeth, wanting to turn around and report to the Queen Ant. The city lair is guarded by the 2 of us, and the outside affairs are left to you to deal with. The Ant King is about to be born, and we will stay here inseparable. At this time, Shyapov's voice came from Grudo's ear. Yes, from Shyapov. Gorudo bowed slightly. Peggy, how many people are there in our division, Commander? Grudo looked at Peggy and said seriously. Assuming Chiona is also killed, Deo still has 28 division commanders. Well, I see, I will convey to Her Majesty the Queen. Grudo nodded, turned around and walked towards the deepest part of the lair. There, is the place where the Queen Ants hide. The other side. After getting rid of Chiona and his team, Nobu pulled President Netero out from the dimension space. Our current tactics are working very well. 0. Asking for flowers. As long as I join hands with Nobu, we can easily separate the bait and the net to disintegrate the enemy from the periphery, and then we can attack the queen ant's nest. Mo Laowu carried a huge cigarette pole on his back, and was very satisfied with the tactics he came up with. It's better to catch the net once in a while. If you let the team with the commanding ability survive, it will be tricky to unite in the future. I guess next they will act in 2 teams of commander-in-chief and freestyle. As long as they attack one of the teams irregularly, I think it should be able to disrupt their plans to some extent. In this way, we can completely attack the enemy. Eliminate them completely before coming up with the next countermeasure. You two little devils, be careful. After I hit 4 or 5 punches and let my shoulders get used to it, I will start to get serious. I advise you to be careful. Nobu adjusted his glasses and looked at President Netero beside him. It would be best if. Naku Loon clenched his fists and shouted 3 times at Gon and Chia with a murderous look. After Bisji's patient training, the strength of the two is also improving by leaps and bounds. On the flat grass, both Gon and Chia burst out with astonishing auras. Their training has been released to the extreme, and the power of aura is much more refined than before. Enhancer is really powerful. Now I'm fighting harder and harder. It has to be said that with 1 against 2, Nakulin can still remain invincible, and his strength can be regarded as the middle level in the Hunter Association. And the battle between the two of them and Nakulu went all out, so that Nakulu, who had the upper hand at the beginning, quickly fell into a passive position. Gon stared at Nakulin with a serious expression on his face. If Jien is released, I will lose if he hits any part. The other side. Boom. President Netero looked up at the night sky, the stars twinkled non-stop, and finally the brightest meteor blinked and disappeared before his eyes. For some reason, Chairman Netero has a vague premonition in his heart. The special training of Gon and Chia is still going on every day. Chapter 161 The Vision of President Netero, Gonbi's Nakusha Open Black Lens Bracket Subscription Close Black Lens Bracket. A rocky area thousands of miles away from the Chimera ant nest. Mo Laowu holds binoculars and pays attention to the movements of Shiapov and Menthathuyupi who are guarding the lair every step of the way. On the other hand, Nobu picked up the phone call from President Netero. At this time, President Netero was in the 4th dimensional apartment, and there were corpses of chimeric ants lying under his feet. Hasn't it appeared today? On the other end of the phone, the voice of President Netero came. Well, as expected, these chimeric ants have started the tactic of huddling around the nest. Are we going to start taking action? Nob asked. Don't be in a hurry, the duel between your apprentices should end soon. It's not too late to start after they're over. Chairman Netero suggested. Okay. 390. Anyway, this operation is mainly based on your orders. By the way, according to the current situation, these chimeric ants need to go out for resupply about once a week, and I can eliminate 2 to 3 more. The team is left and right, and they will all be sent to you for resolution. Nobu replied to President Netero on the other end of the phone. Well, then I'll leave it to you. Chairman Netero hung up the phone directly. The president said that we have to wait for the result of the apprentices' duel before doing anything. Putting away the phone, Nobu looked at Mo Laowu beside him. It will also grow that the old man likes to play. I think it's just a waste of effort. Let's not talk about killing the 2 of them with cool. There are too many uncertain factors in those 2 little ghosts, and there is no way to use them as combat power. Look at. Of course, didn't the president say that the kid named Lan Fei is not bad? I think if he can join us, he will be a good combat power. Mo Laowu shrugged. Yeah, if we let those 2 brats participate, I'm afraid it will hinder us, and the old man likes to make such bets. Nob adjusted his glasses. I'm very good at Yakulu and Shutuo, 100,000 nuns. If neither of us can guess correctly, I will give the money to the president as a gift. Mo Laowu said swearingly that he was very confident in his 2 apprentices. That's it, then I bet $1 million, the 3 brats will come together. Nobu flashed a meaningful smile. What, are you crazy? You bet on these brats. You did it on purpose. Mo Laowu stared at Nobu in disbelief. I believe in the vision of the president, and I also like to gamble, and I like to bet on big upsets. Nobu gave Mo Laowu a blank look. The closest town to NGL. On a flat grassland, the battle is still in full swing at this moment. Gon, it's not okay to go on like this. Not far away, Lan Fei leaned his back against a big tree, and glanced at Nakulu calmly. Hateful, he's really strong. Gon gritted his teeth, being suppressed by Nakulin, he looked a little tired. Little ghost, why didn't you use your previous nirvana? Scissors or something? Nakulun stared at Gon with a smile, and continued. I think, you probably can't use it, because your move has flaws. Defect. Chiya's expression on the side couldn't help but change. After this battle, Gon should be able to realize the flaws and inadequacies in his nirvana. Lan Fei thought to himself. Let me say it first, even if you use that move to deal with me now, I can defeat you immediately. The reason why I was defeated by you before is because your move was unexpected, and the aura you raised scared me. Nakulu walked towards Gon step by step. Now, I finally see that your move has 2 very big weaknesses. First, the time to gather energy is too long. In the fierce battle of life and death, the enemy will not give you a few seconds to store energy. Second, the danger is extremely high. In order to increase the power of this move, the more you concentrate your energy on your fist, the less energy you have to protect your body. If you are attacked by the enemy where you are vulnerable, you can imagine what will happen. I also know that this move is risky, so, in order to make up for these shortcomings, I have been practicing every day during this period of time. Boom. In an instant, a strong aura erupted from Gon again. This brat. Feeling the chi on Gon's body, Nakulin couldn't help being secretly shocked. Only looking at it again, I found that his aura is really amazing. Just judging from the total amount of chi, it's not inferior to the mid-level professional hunter at all. It's a pity, his combat experience is still far from enough. Boom. There was also an aura not weaker than Gon erupting from Nakulun's body, and the two of them fought to the flesh, fighting in close quarters. Gon, don't hesitate when you want to make a move, be fierce and ruthless. Battle experience is still too bad. Not far away, Lan Fei roared. Little ghost, your airflow is too unsmooth. No matter which part you are defending or what action you are going to make next, I can see through it all based on the flow direction. Boom. Take Kulu directly with an uppercut, blasting Gon Langlang's spear out. Stop looking down on people. Gon wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth, stepped on his foot, and rushed towards Nakulin again. Bang bang bang. Although Gon's momentum was not lost, he was still knocked down by Nakulu punch after all, and he was in a mess, breathing heavily. Chia at the side couldn't stand it any longer, he was so anxious that he almost couldn't help but shot 1.1, damn it, he completely controlled the flow of chi. Rock paper scissors. Gon clenched his fists tightly, and the chi in his whole body gathered in his hands again. HMPH, didn't I tell you, the time to gather chi is too long, the enemy will not let you use that move. Stop looking down on people. Nakulu roared, and kicked Gon flying, interrupting his energy gathering. Cough. Gon, who was kicked into the air, stood up again, his forehead was covered with sweat, and the energy on his body was also weakened a lot. The blood stains on the corner of his mouth were added again. He breathed heavily, and said angrily, who the hell is looking down on whom? Take Kulu, show all your strength, the kind with a murderous look. Boom. In an instant, Gon charged at Nakulin again. Chapter 162 Nen of Nakulu and Shuto open black lens bracket subscription close black lens bracket. It's a pity that this time Gon was exhausted again and lost to Nakulin again. The next day, Shutuo also participated in the battle, and Gon showed unprecedented determination. If he loses this battle, the talisman in his and Chiya's hands will be given up to Nakulu. Therefore, in order to enter the territory of NGL again, Gon and Chiya must not lose. Gon, according to yesterday's agreement, I will fight with all my strength from the beginning. Nakulu directly took off his shirt, bursting out with an astonishing aura. Boom. Gon also erupted with an air that was not weaker than that of Nakulin. I will be played by him in terms of speed, so I have to face it head on with the awareness of being beaten. Whoosh. At this moment, Nakulu moved first, and rushed towards Gon at a very fast speed. So fast. Gon's figure flickered, trying to avoid the heavy blow of Nakulu, but he was still a step too late, and 05 was directly punched in the face by Nakulu, and his figure kept moving backwards. Hey, it seems that today is a bit mysterious. Besides, Nakulin hasn't used his Nen yet. Seeing this, Lan Fei, who was leaning against a big tree with his hands folded across his chest, helplessly shook his head. Okay, what happened? Why can't the strength be raised? After suffering a heavy blow, Gon wanted to condense his energy with fury, but he found that he couldn't gather his strength. Just now I lent you my chi. By the way, I'll tell you that the interest is calculated at 11%, and 10% will be collected every 10 seconds. If you don't pay it off quickly, the interest will increase. Nakulu stared at Gon with a half smile. You lent me your gas. When did it happen? Hearing this, Gon was stunned. It's time to start calculating the interest. At this moment, a mascot appeared beside Gon out of thin air, grabbing his sleeve directly. What the hell is this? Gon couldn't believe it. It's my Nen. God knows, I'm the only one to lose. The little thing next to you is the mascot of power, called Potter Kling. Nakulu explained. Appeared, Nen who took the cool kill, I don't know how Gon will deal with it next. Lan Fei squinted and watched with interest. Mascot, Potter Kling. Gon gritted his teeth and sent the mascot Potter Kling flying with a punch. However, it did not cause any harm. Any attack on Potter Kling can only be a waste of time, he's just standing by your side telling you that the interest rate has increased, harmless and invulnerable, just a bit of an eyesore. Nakulu grinned. Boom. At this moment, Nakulu struck another heavy blow, sending Gon flying. What's going on? It doesn't hurt at all. Gon frowned. See you in time, start calculating interest. On Potter Kling's forehead, the value soared directly from more than 300 to more than 500. What kind of ability is this? The interest has suddenly increased by more than 100. Gon was anxious and angry. I just lent you another 180 gas. Spreading his hands with Kulu, as your energy increases, you will naturally not feel pain, but you will suffer even more pain in the future. Soon, Nakulu began to explain his Nen, including some troublesome values, which made Gon, who was already incapable of thinking, have a black line in his mind, and was completely confused by Nakulu's words. It has been a few minutes since the battle started, and you have consumed about 2,000 gas. You can see for yourself. He patted his forehead with the cool gun, feeling that Gon's brain is even more stupid than his own. What? The number is 3 times that of just now. Gon stared at Potter Kling with a face full of shock, only to see that its figure kept getting bigger and bigger, and the value on its forehead also soared to 1586. This is the so-called rolling interest. Even if you stand still, after 260 seconds, that is, after 4 minutes and 20 seconds, you will go bankrupt. Nakulu said coldly. What happens after bankruptcy? Gon's face became serious. After bankruptcy, Potter Kling will become a debt collector, and then pester the debtor for 30 days. During this period, the debtor will be completely in a state of desperation, that is, there is no way to use Nen at all. Even if you regret it now, it's too late. Nakulin crossed his arms around his chest and stared at Gon calmly. Even so, I will fight. Thank you for not casting Nen on me earlier. Take Kulu, I'm going to make a move. Gon took a deep breath, his figure flickered, and rushed towards Nakulin. Shutuo didn't hide the slightest bit, and directly showed his Nen. The battle between Chiya and Shutuo also started. It's just that Nakulu won't give you such a chance. Seeing this, Chiya was taken aback, and was frightened by Shutuo's aura and Nen. At the moment of the fight, Gon was repelled again, and there was no opening for him to take the cool kill at all. Exclamation mark exclamation mark exclamation mark comma comma. As long as you get hit by your nirvana, all the debts you owe can be fully repaid. Since they haven't understood the opponent's ability, they can only attack from a distance and test each other, and they can't take close combat at the beginning. What is this Nen? Gon, what should I do? Chiya took a deep breath and took out 2 yo-yos from his pocket. However, if he intervenes, Gon will definitely be very angry at 117. Gon has such a temper, he wants to defeat the enemy with his own strength, and he can also improve his strength in battle. 3 hands. Moreover, they are still floating in the air. Lan Fei really wanted to help Gon defeat Nakulin so that Gon could enter NGL territory and adventure together again. As expected, Chiya was born as a killer, her mind was strong enough, she calmed down quickly, and began to speculate on Shutuo's ability. It's useless, but there are really 3 hands floating in the air, they are very likely to be Emitter's ability user, and the cage next to it is a mystery ant. Lan Fei thought to himself. Calm down, use Ning to observe the situation first. The other side. Chapter 163. A historic moment is coming, the Ant King is born. Open black lens bracket subscription close black lens bracket. Yo-yo. Seeing Chiya take out her own weapon, Shutuo was startled, and his face instantly became weird. It's a child's plaything, let me see your real skills. Whoosh whoosh. In an instant, Shutuo's 3 hands flew directly towards Chiya. The speed was not fast, but this scene seemed a little weird. At the same moment, Chiya also threw out the yo-yo in his hand, extremely fast, blocked the way of Shutuo's 3 hands, and knocked away the main worm hand who wanted to get close to him again and again. I see. What a superb technique, Shutuo secretly thought. Wow. Suddenly, Shutuo's figure disappeared in place, and appeared in front of Chiya in the blink of an eye. What a speed. It seems that only lightning strikes can be launched. Chiya was taken aback and wanted to show her Nen. Exclamation mark comma comma comma. With an abrupt slap, Shutuo slapped Chiya directly on the face, and Chiya's complexion changed instantly. What's the matter? The body doesn't listen to my orders. Could this be a curse? A figure instantly appeared in Chiya's mind, it was his big brother Yermi, and that sense of fear arose spontaneously. This little brat's reaction has obviously slowed down. What happened? Forget it, don't think about it so much. No matter what, I will try my best to defeat this brat, otherwise I will be rude to him. After Shutuo knocked Chiya into the air with one palm, his body didn't stop at all, he still chased after Chiya. Damn it, the gap is still huge. It seems that I was too proud before. His strength is superior to mine in any aspect. Chiya gritted her teeth, and kept flying back, keeping a distance from Shutuo. That's it, Chiya. That's enough, you don't have to fight against opponents who have no chance of winning. At this time, the shadow in Chiya's mind reappeared, it was the voice of Yermi, lingering like a spell. Bisji, you are so right. My weakness is that I only know how to run away when I meet a strong opponent, like a lost dog. All of these are fans of ill. Chiya gritted her teeth, Bisji's voice appeared in her mind. Chiya, if you run away as usual, one day you will see Gon die without saving. No, I don't want to be like this. Chiya roared loudly, his figure flickered, and stopped directly 10 meters away from Shutuo. However, Shutuo, who was chasing after him, did not pause at all, and directly slapped Chiya away. However, for some reason, Chiya's reaction became quicker, and she avoided Shutuo's blow with one side of her body, and her figure flew back again. What happened? I can't see in my left eye. Chiya's complexion changed drastically. Boom. At this time, Shutuo attacked again, and the 3 hands came through the air at high speed, launching a close-range attack on Chiya. However, Chiya threw out the yo-yo in his hand and repelled Shutuo's attack again. No, I've been avoiding. From the past until now, I have never actively fought. Thinking of Gon's desperate fight, Tong couldn't help clenching his fists. Chiya, if you don't succeed in defeating Shuto tomorrow, leave Gon's side. At this moment, Bisji's voice came from Chiya's mind again. Damn it, I won't run away anymore, take the trick. Chiya roared loudly, and the yo-yo in his hand was smashed directly by him, and his figure flickered to attack Shutuo, wanting to use his special attack. Just when Gon and Chiya were fighting for the talisman with Nakulu and Shutuo. At the moment, the Queen Ant's nest in the territory of NGL. The historic moment has finally arrived. In the deepest part of the nest, the Ant Queen's painful and shrill cry directly alarmed all the high-level chimeric ants. Of course, the so-called high-level personnel are Shyapov and Menthathupi who are directly under the escort, as well as the division leaders such as Grudo and Peggy. This is. At the highest point outside the lair, Menthathupi stood up abruptly. It's almost there, the Lord is about to be born. Shyapov slowly put down the violin in his hand. No, it's too early. In the deepest part of the nest, the queen ant stared at the huge fetus emitting a green light that she had conceived with a painful face. Shut up. A stern sound came from the giant egg, which made the queen ant's eyes widen in disbelief. Poochie. In an instant, a hand stretched out from the giant fetus, and the queen ant screamed miserably. The pain was self-evident. Obviously, the ant king himself came into the world ahead of time. And such a brutal way of birth caused unprecedented harm to the queen ant. At the same time, Shyapov, Menthathupi, Grudo, Peggy and others also rushed towards the deepest part of the lair. The queen ant screamed again and again, another hand tore out of the giant fetus, and finally shattered directly, the green liquid flowed all over the ground, and a figure stood up directly from the queen ant's stomach. Her Majesty. Grudo, Peggy and other division leaders rushed directly to the queen ant, but they were stunned by the scene in front of them. Wang Li Jiao. The ant queen is so miserable. The whole body was covered in blood, the giant fetus was forcibly torn open, it was horrible, the breath on the body was even more dying, a large amount of purple blood gushed out from the mouth, and a figure emitting purple light appeared in front of everyone. He has a pair of red eyes, a green helmet, and a needle-like tail swinging non-stop. The skin all over his body is dark green, and he has the aura of a king without cover. His birth came with a sense of oppression, which was the kingly aura brought by a higher level of life, which made Gerudo and other division leaders have the urge to prostrate and kneel down. This is the king of their chimeric ants. The supreme, invincible king. I am hungry. Go and prepare something delicious. The ant king turned around slowly, his red eyes were extremely bewitching, he stared at Grudo and the others, showing a strange smile. Chapter 164 The Brutal Ant King, the shock of everyone open black lens bracket subscription close black lens bracket. This is the king. Overwhelmed by the kingly aura of high-level life in the ant king, Grudo swallowed with difficulty. The ant king in front of me is too scary. With just one look, Grudo fell into the abyss and was completely oppressed by the air of the king. Female. Her Majesty the Queen. At this moment, Peggy looked at the Ant Queen who was vomiting blood profusely, and hurriedly trot towards the Ant Queen, ignoring the existence of the Ant Queen. Not good, the internal organs are severely damaged. Snap. Very abruptly, I saw the Ant King flicking his tail, Peggy's figure fell slowly, and the book in his hand fell into the distance, his head exploded directly under the Ant King's tail, the scene was rough and bloody. Quote. Grudo's eyes widened in disbelief. What happened to the Ant King? Even kill your own kind. Moreover, without any warning, this scene directly shocked the many division heads who rushed over. With a flick of the tail, he instantly killed a division commander. The strength of the Ant King is too terrifying, right? In an instant, everyone looked at the Ant King with fear. Don't make me say it a second time, I'm here because I'm preparing food. The 910 Ant King flicked his tail, glanced at the crowd, and said to himself, it seems a bit messy here. Suddenly, the Ant King withdrew his gaze from the Queen Ant, and landed on Grudo, who was full of fear. Then he raised his tail and said, come here, help me clean it up. Feeling the oppressive sense of calmness and prestige on the Ant King, and looking at the purple blood on the Ant King's tail where Peggy's headshot was left, Grudo was a little nervous and a little scared. I won't be able to recover for a while. King. Today, my subordinate happens to be wearing a handkerchief. At this time, an old turtle came out, wanting to break the solemn atmosphere at the moment, reached out and took out a handkerchief and walked towards the Ant King from Grudo's side. Boom. Very abruptly, an afterimage passed by, it was the tail of the Ant King, and the old turtle's head exploded, leaving only the turtle shell and the hand holding the handkerchief tightly, and then slowly fell on Grudo's body forward. Purple blood splattered on Grudo's body, and this scene made Grudo feel even more fearful. And the people on the side didn't dare to show their anger at this moment, for fear that they would also be poisoned by the Ant King. Kill people if they disagree with each other, and they are also their own kind. Is this really an Ant King? Could it be the devil? Don't make me say it a second time, it's you, quick control. The Ant King turned around slowly, with his back to Grudo, his tail was wagging non-stop, and the purple blood dripped down the tail, making the atmosphere even more weird and uneasy. Grudo swallowed. Although he was terrified in his heart, he could only bite the bullet and pick up the handkerchief in Old Turtle's hand, walk to the Ant King, and wipe the blood on the Ant King's tail. It's so unpalatable. Just after Grudo wiped the blood on the tail, the Ant King spit out what he chewed in his mouth. After a closer look, it was Peggy's body, and now there is only one left. This scene made everyone's eyes widen, everyone's eyes were full of shock, and their hearts were also full of fear. What kind of king is this? Killing one's own kind is fine, but even eating one's own kind. Where is the food? The Ant King said indifferently, although the language was calm, it was undeniable. Your Majesty, here you are. Suddenly, Shyapov and Menthathupi came slowly and knelt down on one knee facing the Ant King. Your subordinates have prepared a meal for you. From now on, the two of us will be His Majesty's right and left hands. Shyapov said respectfully, we will get anything you want for His Majesty, and fulfill all your wishes of Your Majesty. If you need anything, please, Afti, Your Majesty just ask me. Menthuyupi also spoke respectfully. Okay. The Ant King stared at Shyapov and Menthuyupi calmly, and then walked out of the nest step by step. Behind them, Shyapov and Menthuyupi followed respectfully. Watching the three of them leave, everyone who didn't dare to let out a sigh of relief. Hurry up, save Her Majesty the Queen. Grudo woke everyone up with his words, and hurried to the Queen Ant's side. By the way, Your Majesty the Queen. Not good, too much blood loss, you need to stop the bleeding first. Everyone came back to their senses and rushed towards the Queen Ant. How is Her Majesty? Seeing an octopus-looking medical officer personally inspecting the Queen's injury, Korudo couldn't help asking. It's serious, the situation is quite dangerous. Several organs were damaged, which made us very passive and unable to repair Her Majesty with the usual treatment. If things go on like this, Her Majesty the Queen is in danger. The medical management reminded. Damn it. Grudo gritted his teeth. He instantly thought of Neferpito's ability, but Neferpito had already been killed by Lan Fei. Perhaps, Master Shyapov has this ability. Grudo took a deep breath, turned around and chased after the Ant King. Lord Shyapov. Not long after, Grudo caught up with Shyapov. Her Majesty's life is at stake, and I hope to use your healing ability to save her life. Excuse me, now that the king has been born, the queen has nothing to do with our guards. We don't need her anymore. Shyapov said lightly, and chased after the Ant King step by step. What? Hearing Shyapov's words, Grudo felt as if struck by lightning, and stood there blankly, watching Shyapov leave helplessly. Why? She is our queen. She gave us life. The king was also born to her. Why is this happening? Korudo still couldn't accept the facts in front of him. Why did the Ant King and the two adults directly under the guard become so cold-blooded and ruthless? Korudo was a little overwhelmed, so he had no choice but to turn around and return to the queen's side. Goldo, what's the matter? Master Shyapov willing to help. In an instant, several other division heads all surrounded Grudo. Chapter 165 Seeking Help from Humans. Please save Her Majesty the Queen. Open black lens bracket subscription close black lens bracket. It's useless, Lord Shyapov. No, those people have already abandoned Her Majesty the Queen. Nowadays, the king is what they are after. Grudo shook his head, his heart was full of anger and pain. Abandon Her Majesty the Queen. How can they do this? How can you say that the king was also born from the belly of Her Majesty the Queen? Hearing this, everyone was dumbfounded. Her Majesty's life can only be saved by us. Grudo took a deep breath, his face became serious. Impossible, we can't do it at all. As I said just now, we have no ability to repair Her Majesty's damaged organs like that. The doctor reminded. Damn it, it seems that we can only ask human beings for help, and those who are naughty may be able to do it. Korudo clenched his fists tightly. Although he didn't want to do this, they had nothing to do in the face of Her Majesty's serious injury. Ask for help from humans. Would they want to? Besides, humans are our sworn enemies. A division commander who looked like a cheetah frowned. I can't manage that much anymore. Grudo gritted his teeth, turned around and ran out of the lair. At this time, the trio of Ant Kings who walked out of the nest slowly came to the highest point. The Ant King had just been born, and he overlooked the world for the first time. Behind the Ant King, Shyapov was shaking a pair of blue wings as gorgeous as a butterfly. Seeing this scene, Menthuyupi stretched out a pair of wings from behind, learning to fly furiously. What a wonderful world. From now on, I will be the king of this world. The Ant King put his arms around his chest, overlooking the mountains, streams, and forests. The last figure appeared in his sight, which was Gaosha, who flew out of the nest. For the existence of ants like Gorudo, the Ant King disdains, and naturally he doesn't care so much. Wong, there were originally 3 of your direct guards, but Neferpito has been killed by humans. Shyapov flew slowly to the side of the Ant King. Well, why? The Ant King nodded, he took Neferpito's death seriously. After all, his own strength is already strong enough, one more or one less directly under the escort has no effect on him. Wong, we have prepared delicious food for you. At this time, after many times of practice, Menthuyupi also learned to fly, and his figure slowly fell to the left side of the Ant King. I'll try. The Ant King nodded, turned and walked away to the rooftop restaurant that Shyapov had carefully built for him. Puff. After picking up the food and chewing it for a while, the Ant King spit it out, it's so unpalatable. Is the food not to your liking? Shyapov bowed slightly. Well, the taste is too weak. Ant King nodded. These foods are not seasoned at all. Shyapov explained. I don't mean the seasoning, I've had food with a very strong balsamic taste in that woman's belly, and I miss it so much. The Ant King glanced at Shyapov. You should be referring to special human beings. Shyapov seemed to think of something. My body has been craving this taste, it is an indescribable satisfaction, I want to eat that. Ant King said lightly. This subordinate will do it. However, before that, you may be able to move to a human village, where there should be a lot of delicacies that suit your taste. Shyapov bowed respectfully. Well, lead the way. The Ant King stood up straight away. Wow. As soon as the words fell, the dazzling wings behind Shyapov vibrated again, and then flew into the void, and the Ant King wrapped his tail around Shyapov's feet. Boom. In an instant, the airflow rolled, and the 3 of them flew directly towards the human village. The other side, Korudo shook his wings, held a white flag in his hand, and flew through the air at high speed towards the cave where Mo Laowu and Nobu were hiding. Okay. Soon, old man Mo discovered Grudo's breath and figure. 0. Ask for flowers. A chimeric ant is flying towards us. Carrying a huge cigarette pole, Mo Laowu reminded Nuo Bu beside him. Have you been found? Then let's hide first. Nobu's face changed slightly, he pressed his right hand, and directly cast his nen, only to see a dimensional black hole appear beside him. I have to say that Nobu's nen is really perverted. He can only hide in the fourth dimensional apartment, and no one can kill him or find him. This is a very unsolvable ability. Whether it is escape or sneak attack, it is definitely the best ability. Wait, that doesn't look right. Morowu frowned, and stared fixedly at the flying Grudo, only to see Grudo holding a white flag in his hand. 0. Obviously, not to fight, but to surrender. Raise the white flag. Nob was also puzzled. What is this going to do? Could it be the enemy's way of confusing? We are willing to surrender to you. Just when Mo Laowu and Nobu were ready to fight, Grudo spoke first. Surrender. Mo Laowu and Nobu looked at each other, and they could see a hint of inconceivability in each other's eyes. Well, we are willing to surrender. However, there is one condition, please help save Her Majesty. She is now infertile, and has suffered serious injuries, her organs have been severely damaged, and she is in danger. Grudo gritted his teeth and lowered his totem. Her Majesty. You mean the Queen Ant? Mo Laowu frowned. Well, Her Majesty, she has given birth to a king. Gorudo nodded. How is this possible? Isn't this too fast? Mo Laowu was taken aback. Damn it, this is a big trouble. I didn't expect the Ant King to be born ahead of schedule. Our plan might be interrupted. Nobu's expression changed drastically. He is not our king, he is a devil. Thinking of the Ant King killing his own kind before, that kind of cruel and cold-blooded method still makes Grudo feel lingering fear. Chapter 166 The Hot-Blooded President of Netero Open Black Lens Bracket Subscription Close Black Lens Bracket. I beg you, there is no time. Once Her Majesty the Queen dies, the responsibility of the division head will be lifted, and it will be out of control by then. Grudo gritted his teeth, facing the human enemy in front of him, he put down his figure, his eyes were full of prayers. Specifically, what will it become? Nob adjusted his glasses. They may imitate the king, go out to establish their own country, and reproduce their own offspring. Once the command system collapses, such people will appear at the army commander level. They will spread around the world and destroy the ecosystem. Gorudo explained. Do soldier ants among chimeric ants also have the ability to reproduce? Mo Laowu turned his head to look at Nobu beside him. According to Kate's investigation information, they will forcefully mate with female heterogeneous organisms, allowing the 343 species to produce the next generation. However, the research report pointed out that although the queen-centered soldier ants will not reproduce, but once the queen dies, the soldier ants scatter and push their reproductive capacity to the limit. So, the guy wasn't lying. Nobu squinted his eyes, staring at Grudo with deep meaning. I ask you, what's your name? Mo Laowu said coldly. Goldo. Gorudo replied. Goldo, I'll take you to meet our president right now, and you can tell him what you just said just now. However, I'm not sure if the president will believe your words in the end. Even if he believe me, I don't guarantee that the president will let you go back alive. You decide. Mo Laowu said lightly. Got it. It's not too late, please. Gorudo took a deep breath. For the sake of Her Majesty, even if he died, he would try it. Wow. Suddenly, Nobu raised his hand and cast his nen, and a dimensional black hole directly appeared beside him. Let's go. Morowu took the lead in jumping into the black hole of the dimension. Seeing this, Grudo jumped into the dimensional black hole without the slightest hesitation. Now, he finally knew how powerful human beings are. If the king had not been born, the chimeric ant colony would not be able to defeat humans. Of course, now that the king is born, that's another matter. However, in Grudo's eyes, his allegiance is to the Ant Queen, not the Ant King. The other side, the battle between Gon, Chiya and Nakulu, Todo has also ended. The result is obvious, both Gon and Chiya lost. All the talismans in their hands fell into Nakulu and Shutuo. Not long after, a truck slowly stopped in front of two big trees on the border of NGL. Nakulu, Shutuo, Lan Fei, Gon, and Chiya got out of the car slowly. Gon, Chiya, just send it here. Lan Fei patted Gon on the shoulder. Lan Fei, I'm sorry, I'm too weak, I can't be by your side this time. You must be careful, Chiya and I are waiting for your triumphant return. Gon took a deep look at Lan Fei. It's okay, just let us handle the matter of chimera ants, your task now is to become stronger, otherwise, your strength will not be able to catch up with Jin's footsteps. Lan Fei nodded. Lan Fei, be careful. Don't be killed by chimeric ants. Chiya reminded. With my strength, who do you think can kill me? Lan Fei didn't care. The entire chimeric ant colony doesn't have any binding nen at all, and Lan Fei can remain invincible with the elementalization of the shiny fruit. Gon, Chiya, you must be angry. Next time, I hope you can beat us. Nakuro stared at Gon calmly. It's a deal, I will definitely beat you next time. Gon clenched his fists tightly, his eyes were full of fighting spirit. Okay, let's go, you go back. Lan Fei waved to Gon and Chiya, then turned and walked towards the two giant trees. Behind him, Nakulu and Shu also followed. Hunter Association Building. The president's office on the top floor. Send a research team of chimeric ants to my place right now, the king of ants has been born. Also, Contact Dr. Lee from Fanline Medical University, surgeons with superb medical skills and enthusiasm, and experts in artificial organs. We will meet in NGL in an hour. After speaking, Chairman Netero slowly hung up the phone. The long-lost battle. This time, we will use all our strength to stop the action of the Ant King. Chairman Netero slowly picked up a pair of scissors, cut his long hair short, and then put on the heart T-shirt combat uniform that he hadn't worn for decades, showing an unprecedented fighting posture. This is. Mo Lao Wu was slightly surprised. Heart T-shirt, that is the combat uniform that only the president will wear when he is serious about fighting. I thought it was a rumor, but it seems that the president is going to be serious. Nobu helped the glasses frame, and explained with a serious face. Grudo, I heard that you are also very good at using. Boom. In an instant, President Netero released his mind field, and the terrifying practice was like the moonlight in the distant eye, which hurt everyone's eyes. As far as you have had close contact with the Ant King, I want to hear your unreserved opinion. Compared with the Ant King, how is my strength? President Netero looked at the shocked Grudo. Sure enough, it's like being poked by a needle after continuous research. Mo Lao Wu secretly said 5.6, deeply feeling the powerful strength of President Netero. I think it's very difficult for you to even meet the king, because, before that, you were killed by the people directly under the guard. Feeling the powerful mind field of President Netero, Grudo still feels that President Netero is not the opponent of the king, nor is it the opponent of the members of the guard directly under him. Of course, Grudo has never seen the strength of President Netero, and President Netero simply exploded his thoughts, not at full strength, so Grudo naturally felt that President Netero was not the king of ants' opponent. That's it, that's really satisfying. It really makes my blood boil to be able to be a challenger at this age. President Netero squeezed his chin, showing an old smile. 0 Chapter 167 The Ant Queen died tragically, and the Ant King entered the palace. Open black lens bracket subscription close black lens bracket. Mo Lao Wu, the result of the competition between your apprentice and those two brats should be announced today. It's up to you to take the winner and the research team to the ant nest with Grudo. President Netero pondered for a moment, and then made a decision. President, what about you? Could it be that you want to talk to the Ant King? Mo Lao Wu frowned. No, I'm just going to see an old friend. President Netero turned around slowly, and waved at Mo Lao Wu. Old friend. Mo Lao Wu's brows furrowed even deeper. There are very few people in this world who can make President Netero call him an old friend. Let's go. Nobu took a deep breath, then squatted down, cast Nen, and the dimensional black hole appeared again. Mo Lao Wu and Galudo immediately jumped into the black hole of the dimension. Teacher. In a cave thousands of miles away from the Chimera Ant's nest, Nakulu, Shutuo, and Lan Fei had been waiting here for a long time. 05. After entering the territory of NGL, Nakulu got in touch with Mo Lao Wu, so the owner met Mo Lao Wu and others here. Let's go. Grudo leads the way. Mo Lao Wu glanced at Grudo. You guys come with me. Grudo nodded, and the wings behind his back vibrated slowly, flying towards the hole. Whoosh whoosh. In an instant, everyone followed behind Grudo. Of course, Lan Fei was no exception. This time with Mo Lao Wu and his party, his main purpose was to fight against the Ant King, and he didn't take other things to heart. As for the Queen Ant, her life and death has nothing to do with Lan Fei. Half an hour later, the group finally arrived at the deepest part of the lair, and the research team and medical team also arrived. Here, several division heads who are loyal to the Queen Ant have also gathered. Humanity. Seeing that Grudo brought back so many humans, the remaining division heads were all taken aback. Grudo, are you crazy? Humans are our sworn enemy. One of the division commanders with horns stared at Lan Fei and the others vigilantly. How is Her Majesty? Now, only humans can save Her Majesty the Queen. Grudo gritted his teeth. Didn't he know that human beings are sworn enemies, but in order to save Her Majesty the Queen, he couldn't care less. I didn't expect that my chimeric ant group would decline to this point because of the birth of the king. Now, we are the only ones who choose to follow Her Majesty the Queen. Since we are powerless, we can only pin our hopes on human beings. A division head with the appearance of a mouse sighed. That's all. Our soldiers are now almost merged with other teams, and they all chose to leave. The head of the division with horns also sighed immediately. Please. Grudo clenched his fists and turned to look at Mo Lao Wu. Don't worry, we will do our best, but the Queen Ant. Mo Lao Wu glanced at the Queen Ant who was breathing very weakly. It hurt too much. It was almost dissembled, and all the internal organs were seriously damaged. Unless you are a Nen who has the ability to heal, otherwise, I am afraid that you will be powerless. Lan Fei glanced at the Ant Queen, and couldn't help but lament the cold-bloodedness and cruelty of the Ant Queen. Even the mother who conceived herself can ignore it, and even cut her belly open and gave birth early, which is a fatal injury to the Queen Ant. Such creatures are definitely a scourge to mankind. The injury is too serious, don't expect too much, her organs are all damaged, we can only transplant artificial organs. Even if you transplant the organs of your kind, I'm afraid it won't help. After all, the chimeric ants are a different species of creatures one generation away. At this time, the 10 female medical officers headed by the medical team couldn't help sighing. Is anyone here? Suddenly, a voice rang in Grudo's ear, and it was the Ant Queen who was in a coma and slowly woke up. Her Majesty. Kurdo was a little excited, and hurried to the side of the Queen Ant. Your Majesty is here, what orders does Her Majesty the Queen have? Signal. Hearing the voice of the Queen Ant, Mo Laowu and the others also felt incredible. The Ant Queen can't speak. Lan Fei was also surprised. Son, my son, is he all right? The voice of the Queen Ant echoed in Gerudo's ears again. Please rest assured, Your Majesty, the king is fine, and now he is leading the guards to search for herbs that can heal Your Majesty. In order to reassure the Queen Ant, Gerudo could only lie. So, Wang Ping is safe and sound. Great, my child will eventually rule the whole world in the future. He was born too early, so I have been worried about him, but I have successfully completed my mission. I have no regrets anymore. In the end, I only have one request. I have thought of a name for the child. Meruem means the light that illuminates everything in the world. 02B. My child, after all, will stand on the top of the world. Remember to convey it to my lovely child. The Queen Ant slowly raised her hand, as if she was about to grab something, but it soon fell down, so the instruments for detecting body data also stopped working. Apparently, the Queen Ant is dead. There was no life left on her body. The other side, the Ant King led Shyapov and Menthuyupi to a luxurious palace. The environment here was taken by the Ant King. As a king, how can you not have your own palace? I don't know which country's army you guys belong to, but since you have all sneaked into the palace, don't think that you can die happily. At this time, a strong man stood in front of the three Ant Kings. Behind this Nen, there are also hidden guards with guns. Your Majesty, this guy is a delicious and special human being. Shyapov reminded. Okay. The Ant King grinned, revealing a wicked smile. Even if I didn't observe carefully, I could still feel it. Special human beings really make me salivate. Chapter 168 Nen of the Ant King. The plan to exterminate chimeric ants begins. Open black lens bracket subscription close black lens bracket. D. Suddenly, the Ant King just flicked his tail casually, but the speed was extremely astonishing. No one reacted. The head of the strong Nen was thrown flying, and the blood was red the entire hall. Puff puff puff. At the same time, the guards armed with guns didn't even have a chance to shoot, and directly penetrated the Ant King's head with his tail. Blood and brains all splashed out. Too weak. Stupid human beings. In my eyes, your stories are like pigs. When you were slaughtering pigs and cattle, did you ever see the fear in their eyes? The Ant King sneered, and slowly squatted down, devouring the strong man bit by bit. Ha ha ha, that's the taste. I can feel the power coming out, my whole body is full of power. Boom. After eating, a terrifying aura erupted from the Ant King, which was even more terrifying than Neferpito's peak when he was alive. Even Shyapov felt incredible at this moment. I see. This is the strength of the Ant King. It can be transformed into its own chi by sucking the chi of special human beings. The more you eat, the stronger it will be. Shyapov's eyes lit up suddenly. The strength of the Ant King is already strong enough now. If he is constantly absorbing the energy of human beings, he will be almost invincible. Indeed, in the original plot, the Ant King was the one who abused the president of Netero, but at the last moment, the president of Netero activated the poor man's rose. Ben thought that he and the Ant King would die together, but who knew that the Ant King would not die in the end. Moreover, his corpse was also turned into fly ash. If the corpse was eaten by the Ant King would be really invincible. After all, President Netero is already considered the strongest human being. Once his chi is transformed into the Ant King, who can stop the footsteps of the Ant King. Let's go. Excited, the Ant King slowly walked towards the highest point of the palace. There is a terrace with a full view of the palace. It's a stunning view. The other party is also impeccably big. I'm going to name this place Rushiyuan, and treat this place as a human processing ground. In the future, the Republic of East Gado, I will have the final say. Ant King said lightly. Follow orders. Shyapov and Menthuyupi all bowed slightly. The other side. After the death of the Queen, Lan Fei and others started a plan to eliminate other division heads. After the death of the Ant Queen, these division heads will not have any restraints, and they will not obey the orders of the Ant King, but stand up as mountain kings themselves, constantly slaughtering human beings. How can Lan Fei and others sit idly by this phenomenon? Only by eradicating these small shrimps can we rest assured to deal with the Ant King. At this time, the enemy in front of Lan Fei is the leopard Guido, who claims to be second only to Neferpito in speed among chimeric ants. Little ghost, leave this guy to me to practice. After all, I haven't fought against the division heads of chimera ants yet. At this time, Na Kulu at the side slowly walked towards Lan Fei. You sure? Lan Fei was startled. Guido has a leopard form, and his speed is as fast as a cheetah. Lan Fei doesn't think that Kulu will be Guido's opponent. Well, leave it to me. Na Kulu nodded confidently. Okay, wait a minute and don't make a fool of yourself. Lan Fei shrugged. Take Kulu, show all your strength. Mo Laowu, who was carrying a huge tobacco pole, said in a deep voice. Understood, teacher. Don't underestimate me. Nakulu took a deep breath, and walked towards Guido step by step. Oh, you actually chose one-on-one. You guys are really confident. By the way, the reason why you are here is to hunt and kill me, right? But it's a pity, you are asking for trouble. I'm afraid you will die before you have time to fight back. O stretched his long legs and was extremely confident in his own speed. Stop talking. Watch me kill you! Exclamation mark. In an instant, Nakulu rushed towards Guido. So slow, too slow. Jadu spread his hands, and his figure suddenly disappeared in place. Like a gust of wind, he appeared in front of Nakulu in the next second, and directly punched Nakulu in the face, and Nakulu heavy bang. So fast. Mo Laowu was taken aback. As expected of a leopard. Known as the #1 speed under Neferpitou. Lan Fei watched with great interest. For Neferpitou's speed, Lan Fei has already experienced it. It is indeed terrifying, but in the end, he still died in his own hands. In terms of speed, who in this world can compare to Shining Fruit? Take Kulu. Don't be careless, this guy is not easy. Mo Laowu reminded with a serious face. Damn it. So fast, does this guy really have the speed of a leopard? Wiping the blood from the corner of his mouth with Kulu, his face was extremely ugly. At this moment, Mo Laowu took a deep breath into the huge tobacco rod, and then protruded a thick smoke. Why, are you going to intervene? Lan Fei grinned. I just want Nakulu to end the battle earlier. After all, there are still many chimera ants out of control waiting for us to eliminate. Mo Laowu nodded. Smoke. Sensing the white smoke around Daqian Zhao, Gaidu couldn't help but frowned. Boom. Suddenly, Nakulu moved, his figure flickered, and rushed into the smoke, and finally several identical figures emerged from the smoke. What happened? Gaidu's complexion changed drastically, and he wanted to use his good speed to avoid Nakulu's attack. However, he didn't know which one was Nakulu's real body. These identical figures were transformed by Mo Laowu with his nen. Very abruptly, Hito was punched heavily in the face with Kulu, and he flew upside down. Just one punch is enough. Nakulu grinned. See you now, start calculating interest. At the same time, the mascot Potter Kling appeared beside G****** out of thin air. This, officially takes Nen of Cool Kill. Chapter 169 Operation Phantom Troupe, the self-proclaimed Queen Scorpion Zazan on Meteor Street open black lens bracket subscription close black lens bracket. What is this? Seeing Potter Kling appear beside him out of nowhere, G****** frowned, and patted it with his paw. Boom. The figure of Potter Krillin was blown away, but it flew back to G******'O's side intact again. Could it be? Reed. Seeing that his attack didn't work, Gaidu's face changed slightly. It seems that the strength of these three special human beings is not simple, and it may be dangerous to fight against the king with 10 enemies. Boom. In an instant, Gaidu stepped on his feet, and with the extreme speed of a cheetah, he chose to avoid the edge for the time being. Want to escape? At this moment, Lan Fei didn't want to waste any more time, and his figure flashed, turning into a golden light and appearing behind Guido. Boom. Lan Fei directly kicked at the speed of light with one blow, and directly kicked Kidu into the air. This kid, the speed of light. Mo Laowu was taken aback, seeing Lan Fei show his strength for the first time. It's even faster than this leopard. Nakulu stared at Lan Fei with his eyes wide open. Impossible. Are you able to catch up with my speed? G****** wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth, and stared at Lan Fei as if he was a prey. Lan Fei 537's kick was so powerful that he was seriously injured directly. Laser beams. Lan Fei grinned, and then gently raised his hand. A beam of extreme beams shot out from his fingertips, slowly enlarged in Gaidu's wide-eyed eyes, and then penetrated Gaidu's head. Boom. Blood spattered, and G******'O's head exploded directly. With Lan Fei's strength, the division chiefs of these chimeric ants can be killed with a single lift of his hand. What a strong strength. Is this kid really only 13 years old? Nakulu swallowed, although Lan Fei restrained his breath, but the invisible oppression made him a little depressed. As expected of President Netero's valued person, this brat is stronger than me. In the entire Hunter Association, there are probably not 10 people who can teach this brat. Mo Laowu secretly thought. Suddenly, at this moment, the mobile phone in Mo Laowu's pocket rang. President. Mo Laowu directly took out his mobile phone. What? The Republic of East Gado. Got it. After hanging up the phone, Mo Laowu looked at Lan Fei and AFCC, Nakulu. The president has found the whereabouts of the Ant King, and he is in the Republic of East Gado, and he wants us to rush there. The Republic of East Gado. Ant King. Lan Fei narrowed his eyes. The final decisive battle between humans and chimeric ants is about to kick off. Teacher, what are you waiting for? Let's go to the Eastern Gado Republic to meet President Netero and the others. Nakuro nodded. At this moment, Meteor Street. The streets are reporting the atrocities committed by the Chimera Masters in NGL and East Gado Republic. They continue to slaughter human beings, which seems to have caused an unprecedented panic. For the first time, the Chimera ants, a kind of alien creature, spread to the entire Balusa Islands through news footage. Sorry to keep everyone waiting for so long. The 5 members of Phantom Troupe, Shalnark, Phaeton, Finks, Lev, Zoldyck, and Kaludo who were staring at the news all turned their heads and looked at Shizuku who was walking towards them. You are really slow. Phaeton gave Shizuku a blank look. Okay, let's go, Finks said lightly. Soon, a group of people walked towards the outskirts of Meteor Street unhurriedly. The news said that that kind of creature is called a chimeric ant. On the barren desert, Phaeton spoke first. Well, I heard that it became like that by mating with humans. Shalnark nodded. Based on the reported locations of the current intelligence killings and the backward calculation of time, those chimeric ants seem to have come from the Balusa Islands. Shizuku explained. There are indeed many inexplicable countries there. Finks put his arms around his chest, his face extremely calm. We are not qualified to judge other countries. Phaeton glanced at Finks. But, they were originally ants, right? Wouldn't it be good to just circle around in their own nest? It's good now. Running out threatens the survival of human beings. Finks said coldly. Why do you come to this place? Kaluto frowned, looking towards the windy and sandy distance. Who knows, some chimeric ants may have come here by accident, or they were attracted by the smell of garbage. Shalnark shrugged. I don't think it's a coincidence. That's why chimeric ants can safely invade those places. But at this moment, many rescue teams gathered in the small town, and these rescue teams also felt quite a headache, because more than 300 people had been killed in the small town. After the Ant Queen died, she led her men to invade Meteor Street, and finally took root in this small town, calling herself the Queen. The biggest failure behind the scenes is that she has to use the old and inefficient way of laying eggs to increase her own strength, and her only success is giving birth to me. In the cave, Zazen swings her poison pad. She looks plump and hot, and her nen is an aesthetic reincarnation injection, a mitter nen. As long as the venom is injected by her poison sting, those who can bear it will the shapeshifting surrender to her. After all, there are very few naughty people who can stop their actions. I am the queen. At the same time, an extremely domineering voice spread throughout every corner of the town. Repeat. Surrender quickly. Those who dare to disobey will be sentenced to death, and the selected elite will live in my paradise forever. We will use our own methods to get rid of these chimeric ants, and we will kill whoever hinders us. Shizuku squeezed his chin, thought for a moment before speaking. Finks snorted coldly. In fact, almost all the division leaders of chimera ants have the same strength as the two-star hunter, so they dare to invade the human territory so recklessly. Faden slowly took off his veil, and looked at a deserted town not far from the outskirts of Meteor Street. Today, let's kill the guy who claims to be the queen first. Here, flying sand is everywhere, as if it is an extinct place in the desert. Whether it is the NGL or the Republic of East Godot, it is a country that hardly leaks information. And the highest cave in the town is the residence of Scorpion Zazen, the head of the Chimera Ant Master. Chapter 170 Peeling Lev's Origin and Nen Open Black Lens Bracket Subscription Close Black Lens Bracket. Stop. Kill me, give me a good time. At this moment, a human man was tied up and was directly pushed down in front of Zazen. You are really energetic and promising, maybe you can become my subordinate. Zazen directly raised his foot and stepped on the human man. Phew. In an instant, Zazen's poisonous sting directly pierced out, piercing the human man's neck. In the blink of an eye, the human man was constantly changing at a speed visible to the naked eye, from a human to an extremely ugly chimeric ant. Find the right person. Zazen folded his arms around his chest, staring calmly at the human man who had turned into the same kind in front of him, and then raised his feet. The human man who had turned into a chimeric ant directly kissed Zazen's toes respectfully, expressing his submission. I have to say that Zazen's nen is really perverted. The aesthetic reincarnation injection can completely transform humans into chimeric ants. Once humans are assimilated, she has the ability to rule the world. No wonder Zazen dared to call herself queen, her strength is really not bad. At the same time, members of the Phantom Troupe infiltrated the lair that Zazen had worked so hard to build. Let's break through head on. Shalnark walked into the cave first and offered his opinion. I agree. Finks grinned. The internal structure is really strange, extending in all directions. Faden glanced around. There wasn't a single guard, it was like welcoming us in and out. Shira Lev looked around curiously. Then, I'm going in this direction. Shizuku looked towards one of the passage entrances. I'm going this way, the entrance to the middle passage. Faden said lightly. Split up. Kaluto frowned. Of course, let's see who is lucky, let's see who among us can kill the queen first. Faden nodded. You should also have some abilities that you don't want to be known by my group. Destroy all the enemies. If you have the ability to defeat the queen, it's okay for you to be the acting captain. Finks glanced at Kaluto, then headed straight for another passageway entrance. For Kaluto, a new member who just joined the brigade, Finks and others still don't know Kaluto's ability, but since he can join as a substitute member, his strength should not be bad. Moreover, Kaluto is still from the Zoldyck family, regardless of his young age, his strength is not much worse than Chiya. Learn. Kaluto took a deep breath. Let's start. Whoosh whoosh. In an instant, Shalnark, Finks, Faden, Shizuku, Shelf Lev, and Kaluto all dispersed. Deep in the lair, the infiltration of Phantom Troupe members also caught Zazen's attention. Your Majesty, they dispersed. Judging from the walking style transmitted by the silk thread, the opponent who broke in this time should not be a fuel-efficient lamp. They act like they're often in the wild. A chimeric ant with spider tentacles slowly climbed above Zazen, and the spider silk he sprayed covered the entire nest, and any disturbance could not escape his nen perception. Is it strong? Zazen stood up slowly. Yes. The spider monster nodded. Then, you go to fight too. Zazen looked up at the spider monster lying on top of his head. In this case, no one will be able to protect Her Majesty the Queen. The spider monster was a little worried. If you are really worried about me, then bring these enemies back to me as soon as possible. I rely on you very much, Paiku. Zazen squinted his beautiful eyes. I really can't bear your love, my subordinate Paiku swears that he will capture all the intruders and dedicate them to Her Majesty the Queen. The spider monster named Paiku nodded excitedly, and looked at Zazen full of admiration. Okay, I also want to enjoy the fun of fighting. I don't know if anyone can get here alive. Zazen licked the corner of his mouth, showing a charming look. Dash 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 dash. On the other side, the first to encounter the enemy is the Phantom Troupe member Flake Lev. His opponent is a green-faced monster with purple hair and looks similar to a toad. Boom. Just a face-to-face encounter, the green-faced monster made a move directly, showing the extreme speed, and rushed towards the peeling Lev, the terrible force toward the air, and even the bandage on the peeling Lev was torn by the air wave. 0. Asking for flowers. 0. You are so cold, let me hug you, I can take you to heaven. The green-faced monster Gia laughed, and his ugly face was even more ferocious. Huh, moles. When the bandages peeled off Lev's body in circles, revealing a thin body, the green-faced monster couldn't help being puzzled. Wrong. It's a hole. There are dozens of holes in his body. The green-faced monster felt incredible. Ong. At this moment, a beautiful melody rippling from the body of the peeling Lev, the face of the green-faced monster changed slightly, his nerves somehow seemed to be in a hallucination, completely intoxicated by this beautiful melody. 0. For a long time, Flave Lev was covered with bandages all over his body. Few people could see the real body of Flare Lev, let alone know the origin of Flare Lev. He is a descendant of the ethnic minority who are considered to be forced to be displaced by development, the descendants of the Dongdong tribe. Boys in the whole drilling tribe will be circumcised when they are about 3 years old, and they will be pierced all over their bodies. The holes on their bodies will make various sounds according to the size, shape and strength of their movements. Improve your combat effectiveness. Battle martial arts song. Once the peeling Lev reveals his true body, it means that he has also entered a fighting state at this moment. Boom. As soon as the words fell, the peeling Lev did not know when he was holding a spear tightly in his hand, and then rushed towards the green-faced monster, knocking the green-faced monster to the ground heavily. It has to be said that every member of Phantom Troupe is abnormal, and their strength and ability are comparable to the 2-star professional hunter. Vulnerable. I have the blood of the nation with the most beautiful fighting posture in the world, and I will not lose to a role like yours if I gamble the name of the elves and my people. Peeling Lev slowly put away the spear, and the bandage wrapped around his body again. Is that blow just now really powerful enough to make the tribe proud? If there is, the pride of your clan is really worthless. Suddenly, just as the peeling Lev was about to turn around and leave, the green-faced monster who had been knocked down on the ground slowly stood up, showing a ferocious and strange smile. Chapter 171 Shalnark's Nen, Super Transformation Open Black Lens Bracket Subscription Close Black Lens Bracket. Really? I'm going to start playing next. Lev squinted his eyes, and the bandages that bound his body were untied again. Immediately afterwards, a strange melody sounded slowly, like a spell that instantly plunged the green-faced monster into an endless illusion. How is this going? The green-faced monster was breathing heavily. No matter how he attacked, peeling Lev could easily dodge it. Moreover, under this weird rhythm, he felt an inexplicable sense of oppression, and all his movements slowed down. Can't keep up with Flak Lev's speed. What happened to you? Don't you want to continue attacking? If you do this, you should be able to stop my performance. While peeling Lev dancing, the rhythmic sound emanating from his body became even weirder. Damn it. Boom. 250. Suddenly, the green-faced monster burst out with the last strength, and rushed directly at the peeling Lev. However, when he entered the attack range of the peeling Lev, he turned around suddenly and rushed out in another direction. Ha, stupid. You remember it for me, and I will teach you a lesson next time. The green-faced monster ran away at a very fast speed, and he already realized that he was no match for Pilev. Look for Paiku, just tie him up with Paiku's silk thread, and he will be silent. Seeing the green-faced monster fleeing, peeling Lev didn't care, he was still waving his hands, and the strange rhythm became more sharp. The speed of escape is quite fast, but it's still not as fast as the speed of sound. Whoosh. In an instant, the entire body of Flappy Lev spun at a high speed, and a golden energy halo slowly accumulated on his body, and then spread out in all directions like a circle. Battle Waltz. Jupiter. Flaking Lev gave a loud shout. This is his Nen, the diffused energy aperture has the speed of sound, and it catches up with the green-faced monster in a short time, and finally condenses into a planet-like sphere and crushes the green-faced monster. Boom. Accompanied by a scream, the huge sphere exploded directly, and the terrifying energy directly blasted out a hole in Zazen's lair, and even blasted a circular deep pit on the ground. Being crushed first, and finally dying of breath, I think this should be the most suitable way of death for bugs. Staring at the corpse of the green-faced monster, peeling Lev showed a trace of disdain, then turned around and rushed in the direction of Zazen. The other side. As long as it is one-on-one, no matter how powerful the opponent is, as long as the control antenna is pierced, I will win. However, this guy has a hard carapace all over his body, I don't know if he can penetrate it. Why? Shalnark held a control antenna in his hand, and stared intently at the beetle-like enemy in front of him. Boom. At this moment, the beetle swung its sharp claws directly, tearing towards Shalnark. Shalnark leapt and flew back, avoiding the claw. Although he avoided it, the wind blade of the beetle's claw directly tore a hole in Shalnark's clothes. It's dangerous. This guy's upper limbs are quite sharp. Shalnark took a deep breath and kept thinking. As the strongest brain in Phantom Troupe, although he is not the strongest, he has the best brain. Just dodge the attack on the upper body, and then when this guy bends his body, insert the control antenna in the gap between the limbs and it should be fine. Shalnark thought to himself. Whoosh. In an instant, Shalnark's figure flickered, and he rushed towards the beetle at an extremely fast speed. Just as he thought, After extreme speed avoided the attack of the beetle, the control antenna in his hand was directly inserted into the joint gap of the beetle. It's a pity that Shalnark underestimated the strength of the beetle in front of him. Even if the whole body is extremely hard, this beetle is not the real enemy. The real enemy is hiding in the dark. Bang! Just when Shalnark turned around and didn't pay attention, the beetle's limbs directly held Shalnark firmly, making him unable to move, and the sharp claws even pressed against Shalnark's neck. What happened? My control antenna is not activated. Shalnark was surprised. Are you from Emitter? Suddenly, a figure hiding behind the rock pillar came out slowly. He was holding a remote control in his hand, which was the real enemy of the remote control beetle. Like Shalnark, he is a chimeric ant of Emitter. You let down your vigilance the moment you inserted Peru, which is enough to prove that you belong to the Emitter, and that antenna is the condition for your control ability to activate. You thought your plan was successful, so you took it lightly. The short figure holding the remote stared at Shalnark with a half smile. I think you belong to Emitter too. The reason why my ability didn't activate when the conditions were met is because this beetle has already been controlled by another ability user. Shalnark stared at the small figure in front of him with a calm face. Even though he has been restrained by the beetle, Shalnark is still unhurried, which is an affirmation of his own strength. That's right, the Emitter ability is the first to win first. As long as I bring you to meet Her Majesty the Queen, my mission will be considered complete. The short figure grinned, his shape was like a miniature Ultraman. Hey, I can't break free at all. Control yourself. Automatic operation, open. The short figure opened its mouth wide, feeling incredible. He, transformed. Give up. Just obediently submit to Her Majesty the Queen. Inserting the antenna into one's body will increase the power of thought, and then start the automatic mode to fight until the enemy in front of you is killed. During this period of time, Shalnark will be in an unconscious state. In his own words, this is the ability with the least sense of accomplishment. Whether it is victory or defeat, he has no experience at all. Boom. In an instant, a smart sound came directly from the remote control in Shalnark's hand. Shalnark grinned and thrust the other antenna directly into his right foot. 4.2. Shalnark's Nen has two modes, one is to carry the fate of others, and the other is the automatic operation mode. When I am fighting, I always prepare two antennas, just for this kind of dangerous situation. Seeing that Shalnark seemed to have given up resistance, the short figure couldn't help but took out a silver needle, intending to insert it into Shalnark's body, and then control Shalnark. Give up. It seems that there is no way. Though I really don't want to use that. In an instant, an unprecedented aura erupted from Shalnark's body, and the golden light directly covered everything. It's like turning into a Super Saiyan. Trying to break free from the beetle's shackles, Shalnark found that the more he struggled, the tighter the beetle's limbs were bound. Chapter 172 Fink's Ability, Phaeton vs. Queen Open Black Lens Bracket Subscription Close Black Lens Bracket. The enemy has been confirmed, let's start to deal with it. In an instant, a golden wave of light burst out from Shalnark's body, directly crushing the short figure not far away. Rumble. The golden light exploded directly, and the short figure turned into fly ash. Complete the command and release the automatic operation mode. Turn off the power. Immediately afterwards, a smart voice came from the puppet phone, and Shalnark instantly recovered from unconsciousness. I have to say that Shalnark's automatic attack mode is really terrifying, completely comparable to Lan Fei's glitter fruit ability. Moreover, the strength displayed by the members of Phantom Troupe definitely surpassed that of the two-star professional hunter. Even in the face of an existence like Neferpitou with abnormal combat power, he might be able to barely fight. It hurts. Damn, it's happening again. I'm looking at another 2 or 3 days where I'm going to be immobilized with muscle soreness. Hey, I really don't want to use this mode. Although the power is very strong, there are still sequelae. Shalnark curled his lips, turned and walked deeper into the lair. On the other hand, Kaluto's battle is coming to an end. The dance of the snake bite. The paper fan in Kaluto's hand kept waving, and the densely packed pieces of paper O5 formed a posture like a tornado, and each piece of paper became indestructible, tearing away at the enemy in front of him. Puff puff. In an instant, the enemy was completely wrapped in pieces of paper, and then shredded into a pool of blood. Vulnerable. Kaluto slowly put away the paper fan, turned and walked deep into the lair. Although he is a new member of Phantom Troupe, although he is only 10 years old, his strength is no less than that of Chiya. At this time, the Battle of Finks has also reached a fierce stage. Hey, that's how powerful your fist is. I don't think you can even kill mosquitoes. Opposite Finks, the Chimera Ant, who looks like an ape, said sarcastically. The next step is to kick, or to take a weapon. I'll let you do another move, as a gift to hell. The ape sneered. It turns out that ants also know this kind of difficult vocabulary, so I'd rather be obedient and attack with my fist. Finks grins. Fist attack. The ape Gia laughed and said indifferently. Just tune in. 4, 5, 6. I saw that Finks' right arm began to spin round and round, 11 field 24-5. As Finks' voice fell, his right fist suddenly condensed a terrifying golden aura, similar to Gon's attacking moves. Gon condenses his chi on his fist, Finks also condenses his chi on his fist, but the two condense their chi in different ways. Zzz. Faintly, there was still a trace of thunder and lightning circulating in the golden air. What? Feeling this terrifying aura, the ape was taken aback and stared at Finks in horror. You just said let me punch you, didn't you? Finks grins. Wait a minute. The ape stepped back in horror. Back to the days. Boom. Finks didn't give the ape the slightest chance, and directly punched the ape and collapsed. This punch was none other than Finks' Nen. The more you rotate your arm, the harder your punch will be. In an instant, the ape was punched and turned into flying ash. What? Isn't this too weak? If I had known earlier that only a normal number of laps would be enough, it seems that I still don't know how to hold my fists well. Glancing at the ape that died tragically in front of his eyes, Finks took a sip of water in disdain, then looked up at the other passages. Next, which way should we go? ... On the other side, the Battle of Phaeton has also begun. Where is the queen? Phaeton stared at the plump woman in front of him. You should be happy that the queen is here in front of you right now. Zazen stared at Phaeton with a smile, wrapped in a veil. Tisk tisk, you look pretty good, surrender to me and I will take you to conquer the world together. You are the queen. This joke is not funny at all. Phaeton took a deep breath, a trace of air burst out from his body, and then an umbrella appeared in the palm of his hand out of thin air. This is Phaeton's weapon, umbrella. Zazen frowned. Clap. In an instant, the umbrella was opened, and Phaeton's figure had appeared above Zazen's head at some point. He was holding an extremely sharp long knife and piercing towards Zazen. His movement speed was fast and strange. However, Zazen, as the division head of the Chimera Ant, is as powerful as a 2-star professional hunter. He reacted the moment Phaeton opened his umbrella, his figure flickered, and he directly avoided Phaeton's sharp blade. That's a good response. After a miss, Phaeton stared at Zazen with a calm face. You seem to like hiding your knives at the ready, kid. Zazen slowly took off the robe on his body, revealing a sexy undergarment. We are all the same, when we see an enemy wearing loose clothes, we think that the enemy has a hidden weapon. Phaeton spoke unhurriedly. Let me experience your speed and knife skills. Zazen swung the poison pad behind him, and licked the corner of his mouth at Phaeton. Whoosh whoosh. Yeah, it's been a long time since I met such a strong opponent. Clang. Flay Lev crossed his arms and looked at Phaeton and Zazen with a calm face. At the same time, 5 people including Shalnark, Flak Lev, Kaluto, Shizuku, and Finks also arrived here, and they arrived almost at the same time. This guy Phaeton, he has met his opponent. It is worthy of claiming to be a queen, it is enough for any of us to do our best. Shalnark nodded. Shish. Shizuku pouted. Everyone didn't intend to intervene, because they all knew Phaeton's temper. Once intervening, the consequences would be disastrous. Seeing the figures of Phaeton and Zazen intertwining, Finks couldn't help laughing. Why do I feel that Phaeton's movements are not smooth? Obviously, they killed their enemies in a very short time. Bang bang bang. In an instant, the two began to fight hand to hand, and their speeds were extremely fast. Of course, the strength of these enemies is naturally much weaker than that of Zazen, the division commander, but even so, any phantom troop has the strength to fight against the Chimera Ant division commander. The long knife and the poisonous sting kept colliding, making a series of collision sounds, and some sparks flew during it. It was difficult for the naked eye to catch the intertwined figures of the two. He shouldn't be in the mood yet. Chapter 173 Angry Phaeton, the strongest ultimate move, the scorching sun open black lens bracket subscription close black lens bracket. Whoosh. Suddenly, Phaeton rolled up the umbrella, and the speed became more and more strange, leaving afterimages, which were difficult to catch with the naked eye, and could only be sensed by chi. Behind, Zazen is worthy of being the powerful commander of the Chimeric Ant colony, and he can control Nen to the point where he can do whatever he wants, and soon discovered Phaeton's real body from afterimages. I saw Phaeton holding an umbrella, and the top of the umbrella was a sharp steel thorn, which stabbed Zan Langlang. Zazen's reaction was fast enough, flicking his tail, the poisonous sting and the steel thorn collided instantly. What's the matter with this guy? The speed is getting faster and faster, and even his companions have rushed over. Damn it, have all those useless subordinates been killed by them? Zazen's expression changed drastically. One-on-one with Phaeton was tricky, and now there are other phantom troop members, which made Zazen feel nervous and panic like never before. Humph. At this moment, Phaeton snorted coldly, and the steel thorns on the top of the umbrella shot out like bullets, piercing Zazen's face. Boom. In an instant, the steel thorn directly hit Zazen's forehead, and the terrifying force made Kauzen's entire body fall back involuntarily. But, even so, it only left a skin wound on Zazen's forehead, and did not cause a fatal injury, and a trace of blood dripped down his forehead, making Zazen instantly angry. Huh, it turned out to be tougher than I imagined. Phaeton narrowed his eyes, staring at Zazen with a half-smile. UB*********************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************** disappeared instantly, replaced by infinite rage. You dare to hurt this queen's face, it is unforgivable. What? Zazen raised his head and roared angrily, then directly tore off the tail behind him. This method of self-harm instantly surprised Shalnark, Finks and others. This queen will kill you. Zazen's body began to swell, and the severed tail grew out again, but it was different from before. A crocodile-like tail grew out. The body that was once swollen became extremely thick, and there was no comparison with the plump figure before. In a short while, Zazen transformed into a monster with purple hair. She had a crocodile tail, and she looked terrifying with her teeth bared. Wow! At this moment, Phaeton's figure suddenly disappeared, and appeared above Zazen's head in the next second. Hard. Your whole body is full of flaws. I'm not good enough to pass up this opportunity. Phaeton directly urged the force, and stabbed Zazen with the long knife in his hand. Bang! However, The next scene made Phaeton feel unbelievable, his eyes widened, and he saw that the long knife in his hand broke immediately after touching Zazen's hard scales. Court death. Zazen was shocked, and then a sharp claw tore at Phaeton. Phaeton's figure flickered, he jumped up high, and retreated 5 meters away. Poochie. Even so, all the clothes on his body were torn apart, and even the black veil covering his face was torn. What happened? This guy must have missed Phaeton. Kaludo looked confused. No, it's weak, but she let out her breath, so Phaeton's attack will hurt herself. Using force to hit a point with chi to launch an attack, but I didn't expect that the opponent would be unscathed. I made a calculation error and was a step slower before using thoughts to protect myself. That is to say, Phaeton almost uses his body to resist, even if it is a clumsy transmuter attack, he should still receive a lot of damage. Finks explained. Yeah, this chimeric ant who claims to be the queen is very aware of the purpose of chi, and can control Nen to the point where she can do whatever she wants. Shalnark nodded. The title of queen is not called casually. Flaky Lev grinned. How is it, pain? This queen will not let you take advantage of it. Seeing that Phaeton was injured, Zazen laughed wildly. Don't you need to help Phaeton? Kaludo was a little worried. Why help him? I said that this is a competition. It would be fine if he was eliminated and we would go up and fight. Finks spread his hands. Who is the next? Asked Shizuku. According to the order of arrival here. Shalnark suggested. That should be me. Finks grinned. Wait a minute, the two of us arrived here at the same time. Flake Lev turned to look at Finks. Stupid, if I hadn't been waiting for you to finish off that opponent, I wouldn't be low at the same time as you. Finks glared at Shelf Lev. Stop arguing, throw a coin and decide. Shalnark shook his head with a wry smile. Phaeton hadn't lost yet, these people started scrambling to line up to shoot. Bang bang bang. At this moment, Zazen saw through Phaeton's current state and started close combat. After all, Zazen after transformation has absolute power, and melee combat is more suitable for her. Suddenly, Zazen punched Phaeton's right arm, and the whole right arm twisted faintly. From the looks of it, Phaeton's right arm should be in pain. Fink's eyes lit up suddenly. Phaeton, do you need to switch hands with me? Indeed. Shizuku gritted his teeth. Really? Phaeton actually hides such a terrifying ability. Since in the hard state, the body's unused hard parts have 0 defense against Nien, therefore, Phaeton is now being used in close combat by Zazen, and every punch is fatal. Boom. This guy is angry. If he runs away, he will suffer later. Shalnark explained to Kaludo behind him. Kaludo couldn't bear the curiosity in his heart, but in order to survive, he had to follow Finks and others to escape from the cave. Don't push yourself too hard. Shelev also knew the terrible pain of Phaeton's ultimate move. Hearing Finks' words, Phaeton couldn't help spitting blood. Hateful. Finks' expression changed drastically, and he quickly turned around and ran out of the lair. I wanted to observe it once before, but I was almost killed. As long as that guy is angry, he will use his abilities recklessly. Damn it, I really want to see it with my own eyes. That guy's ability has a wide range, and he will activate it when he gets angry, and he will never show mercy. If you are hit by the ability he used this time, you may die instantly. Too bad, run away. In an instant, a terrifying air erupted from Phaeton Qian Hao Hao. Chapter 174 Lan Fei disrupts the plan, President Netero joins forces with Zeno. Zoldyck open black lens bracket subscription close black lens bracket. The sun is burning. Suddenly, a crimson light bomb was slowly lifted into the sky, and then became huge, like a scorching sun. The terrible heat directly baked the entire lair, and even Phaeton himself was wearing a special suit, protective suit. This ultimate move is only performed by Phaeton when he is extremely angry. Under the scorching sun, all life will be burnt out and baked into ashes. Only Phaeton himself can wear the special protective clothing. Resist the impact of his nirvana. Ah, under the scorching sun, Zazen screamed in pain, the fiery breath made her feel suffocated, and it was difficult to maintain her breathing. Your throat is so hot that it's hard to breathe. If you want to run for your life, if you can still move. Phaeton walked towards Zazen step by step, laughing wildly. How about it, try to get out of trouble with your proud and hard body. Impossible. As a queen, I will die here. Zazen fell down with a face full of pain. Scoff. When the scorching sun was young, the entire lair was like a volcano erupting, with charred wreckage everywhere, and Zazen's body had already been burned to ashes. It's a pity. If I had made my injury more serious, I could have died more painfully. You've done it to yourself. 313 stared at Zazen who was burned to ashes, Phaeton said to himself. Meanwhile, the Republic of East Godot. In the palace, the Ant King is playing chess with a famous girl in the palace. And in Peijingli, the capital far away from the palace, Lan Fei and others began to cooperate with Chairman Netero. Mo Laowu took the lead in using his nen and embarked on a plan to encircle the entire city. Purple Smoke Robot Squad. Mo Laowu took a deep breath into the huge tobacco rod, and then exhaled wisps of smoke, which condensed into vigorous figures. In a short time, Mo Laowu created his own smoke army, which consisted of 50 people. The enemies of the Purple Mist Mecha Squad cannot use circles to distinguish the difference between a human and a puppet. In this way, the Ant King's direct guards will think that these dolls are enemies. Whoosh whoosh. In an instant, all the puppets gathered by Mo Laowu dispersed, and began to create an unprecedented illusion for the guards directly under the Ant King. Little devil, let's split up. Remember, Our mission is to contain the Ant King's direct escort as much as possible. Mo Laowu glanced at Lan Fei beside him. Can I go directly to the Ant King for a fight? Lan Fei pouted. Lan Fei is no longer interested in the Ant King's direct guards, because he has killed the strongest Neferpitou, and now only the strongest Ant King is left for Lan Fei to face up to. Moreover, Lan Fei wasn't sure if he could beat the Ant King. Of course, even if he can't defeat the Ant King, Lan Fei can still remain invincible with the ability of the shiny fruit, at least he won't be suppressed by the Ant King. Don't forget, the Ant King is already the president's intended prey. If you want to fight against the Ant King, unless the president loses. It's just that it should be impossible. After all, the president is the strongest human being, and he should have enough strength to kill the Ant King. Mo Laowu said lightly, full of confidence in the strength of President Tero. That's not necessarily the case. Lan Fei shrugged, his figure flickered, and he headed towards the palace. You brat, don't mess around, it will disrupt our plan. Seeing Lan Fei rushing towards the palace, Mo Laowu was shocked. Damn it, this brat is too messy. Mo Laowu gritted his teeth, and quickly took out his mobile phone to make a call. Nobu, the plan has changed. This brat Lan Fei rushed directly to the palace, you must speed up. What? Hearing Mo Laowu's words, Nobu immediately yelled. Is this kid looking for death? Forget it, since he wants to die, we can't control it AFBD, I have sneaked into the palace now, and I am setting up the transmission channel. Lord Shyapov, a human imp is rushing towards the palace. I'm chasing after him, this kid is very fast. Lan Fei, who was rushing towards the palace, was soon discovered by the enemy. And the one who discovered Lan Fei was Lei Aolu, a division leader of the chimeric ant who looked exactly like a lion. Oh, I see, you test his ability first. On the other end of the phone, Shyapov's voice came. Understood. Lei Aolu nodded and hung up the phone directly. Whoosh. As a lion, although Lei Aolu's speed was not as fast as Lan Fei's, he was not much slower. Okay. At this moment, Lan Fei, who was rushing towards the palace, looked back and glanced at Lei Aolu who was chasing after him, and the corner of his mouth curled up. Interesting, you dare to follow me. Soon, Lan Fei's figure flickered, and he jumped towards a church. Okay. Seeing this, Lei Aolu frowned, his figure flickered, and he also jumped towards the church. In Lei Aolu's view, Lan Fei is just a human kid, nothing to be afraid of, he can kill this human boy with his own ability. Of course, it was Lei Aolu who had never met Lan Fei, nor did he know that Lan Fei had fought against Neferpitou, and Shyapov and Menthuthupi had never seen Lan Fei's strength, so naturally they did not spread this information. Although it is known that Neferpitou is dead, it is not known who killed Neferpitou. This is also what Shyapov and Menthuthupi are most worried about. Even if Neferpitou can be killed, it definitely has the strength to threaten the Ant King. Therefore, they can only stay by the Ant King's side now. Little brat, you are quite courageous. You dare to approach the palace alone. Lei Aolu stared at Lan Fei with a smile. It's just a division commander, how dare you block my way? You know, Neferpitou died at my hands. Lan Fei tilted his head and grinned. What? Impossible. How could Master Neferpitou die at the hands of a brat like you? Hearing Lan Fei's words, Lei Aolu was taken aback, his face suddenly panicked. At the same time, the sky above the East Godot Republic. The strange bird has been shuttling through the clouds. And on the strange bird, two old human beings jumped down, it was President Netero and Zeno. Zoldyck. Chapter 175 Dragon Star Group. President Netero's terrifying palm open black lens bracket subscription close black lens bracket. At this moment, in the palace, Shyapov and Menthuthupi stood directly on the highest building of the palace's direct guards. Ant King is playing chess with wheat in the palace. And it was Shyapov who first discovered that there was an enemy invasion above the palace. Although Shyapov's circle only covered the entire palace and could not extend into the void, but with his powerful perception, he immediately discovered the traces of President Netero and Zeno. Zoldyck descending from the sky. Because, the aura of these two people is really too strong. At this time, Shyapov raised his head and stared at the void. Although the distance was extremely far, he still had a premonition with the wild instinct in his body. In an instant, he put away the circle, and the whole person entered a fighting state. There are enemies. Seeing this, Menthuthupi on the side followed Shyapov's gaze with a solemn face and looked towards the sky. Boom. At this moment, there was a vibration in the clouds, like lightning and thunder, and a golden light tore through the clouds, it was a golden dragon. For a while, both Shyapov and Menthuthupi caught this golden light. Shyapov's expression changed drastically. It turned out to be a dragon. Menthuthupi also felt incredible. The president of Netero and Zeno, Zoldyck, who fell from a high altitude, also noticed the figures of Shyapov and Menthuthupi at this moment. Because they are both standing on the highest point of the palace building, and both of them have entered the best fighting state at the moment, and their aura has been raised to the extreme, which naturally attracted the attention of President Netero and Zeno. Zoldyck. However, the next scene made both Shyapov and Menthuthupi feel panic. Boom. I saw the golden dragon exploded directly, turning into golden light arrows all over the sky, piercing down towards the entire palace. This is exactly Zeno, Zoldyck's nirvana. Dragon stars. King. Shyapov roared loudly, the pair of melody wings behind him shook suddenly, and rushed in the direction of the king. After all, the entire palace is too big, and the highest place they stand is a certain distance from the king's position. Damn it! The wings on Menthethuyupi's back also vibrated, and he stared up at the void. Now that Shyapov lifted the circle, the dense cluster of dragon stars will naturally spread to every corner of the palace. However, Menthethuyupi knew that the most dangerous person was not the golden light arrows falling from the sky, but the strong human being standing in the void. Boom! Menthethuyupi flapped his wings and rushed towards the void, avoiding the dense golden light arrows, and finally saw the appearance of this strong human being at close range. This is a muscular old man. He stood in the void, invisible to make Menthethuyupi feel unprecedented pressure. Although I have anticipated several attack methods in advance, your move is a bad move, little ant. Staring at Menthethuyupi, President Netero couldn't help grinning. And at this moment, inside the church, standing opposite Lan Fei, Lei Aolu really wanted to enter a fighting state, but was indeed pierced by a golden arrow of light that fell from the sky suddenly. How come? Lei Aolu opened his mouth, and a trace of blood overflowed from the corner of his mouth. Before he could react, he fell down straight. The majestic division leader of the Chimera Ant died in Xeno Zoldic's Dragon Star group just like that. It has to be said that among all the division heads, Lei Aolu is the saddest one. Of course, this method of death is the best relief for Lei Aolu. Otherwise, if Lan Fei makes a move, Lei Aolu's death situation may be very miserable. This is the Dragon Star group. Immediately recognizing the golden arrows of light penetrating the church, Lan Fei couldn't help squinting his eyes. President Netero and Xeno Zoldyck made a move. Whoosh! Lan Fei didn't even look at Lei Aolu's body lying on the ground. His figure flickered, and he rushed out of the church, and his figure landed on the highest point of the building. This old man. 0. Seeking flowers. Avalokitesvara in 100 forms. Lan Fei suddenly raised his head and looked towards the void, only to see President Netero standing in the void, staring at Menthethuyupi calmly. Arts. At this moment, in the eyes of Menthethuyupi, President Netero is like Avalokitesvara bathed in the holy light, and the whole person looks very sacred. In the eyes of Menthethuyupi, the series of movements of President Netero are extremely smooth, graceful and very slow, but the truth is the opposite. This is a fast attack that cannot be avoided. Although it looks slow, it actually moves at the speed of light. With this kind of movement, weak people can only capture very slow movements, while those who have reached the level of Netero President can see the attack at the speed of light. Coincidentally, Lan Fei saw these 10 light speed attacks of Chairman Netero. Worthy of the 100 styles of Avalokitesvara. Lan Fei deeply felt the strength of President Netero. With this kind of offensive and defensive moves, even if he opened the 8 Door Dunjia, he might only be able to draw with President Netero. Opening the Gate of Death, using Shi Shang, and using Yi Kai, Lan Fei is afraid that he can only compete with President Netero's 100 styles of Avalokitesvara. However, once Lan Fei activates the 8 Gates Dunjia, it can only last for 10 minutes. President Netero is old, but the power of his 100 style Avalokitesvara is even more threatening, and it should be enough to last 10 minutes under Lan Fei's 8 Gates Dunjia. Minute. After 10 minutes, Lan Fei will be defeated. Of course, if Lan Fei activates his own Nen, that's another matter. The curse is also an unsolvable Nen. As long as you get a drop of Netero's blood, then Netero will definitely lose. Even the Ant King is the same. Lan Fei's comprehensive strength is completely fearless. Boom. At this moment, President Netero directly slapped a golden palm print and hit Menthethuyupi hard. In an instant, the figure of Menthethuyupi flew upside down like a meteorite falling. He could not help coughing up blood, and moved away from the palace at an incomparable speed.